Here for the age Caulfield Guineas Prelude, and we'll show you the market shortly, but the favourite is clearly Shark Bite, open up about even money here on course. There's the totes, 870 for the number one. It's been backed here on course.
Down on the inside, Shark Bite bounced quickly. Mr. Scribble heads it off from further out. Blue Largo, Duet Sasso up fourth early. Snort went back second last and Wordsmith last of all. Mr. Scribble led up the fourth. They backed the speed off at the 800 metre mark. Fifth is the one. Wonderful World outside it. 2 lengths and Snort inside Top Strand. And the last two, Dan Ever back last. Wordsmith in front of it. 600 to go. Mr. Scribble in the Prelude. 3/4 Blue Largo. Shark Bite is parked third on the fence. Outside it, Duet Sasso. 2 then to the one running fifth, then Wonderful World from Snort, further back Top Strand, Wordsmith, and Denevra is last of all. Mr. Scribble for home at the 500, a neck in front of Blue Largo. Shark Bite going well behind him, he just has to get out near it. Outside him is Duet Sasso when they turn. Blue Largo went to Mr. Scribble, he's about to ease out on Shark Bite from Duet Sasso, then Wonderful World followed by the one. It's Blue Largo in front, Wonderful World and Shark Bite after him. Wonderful World's the one, it has ranged up quickly down to Blue Largo and Shark Bite, and Wonderful World to win the Prelude. Wonderful World sprints away, wins 2 lengths Blue Largo, Shark Bite. Then further back, Dan Ever followed by Duet Sasso, Wordsmith and the one. Snort didn't come into it from Top Strand. And last of all is...
Had a month off, he spent time at his property up Caulfield. He was terrible in the Santa Monica, not much better in the up and coming. Blinkers on again, back to Caulfield and wins the Guineas Prelude at $21. Thanks very much. Well done, Luke Nolan. Blue Largo fast, but take nothing away from the winner.
No, well, the winner was too good. As it turned out, they ran 2 seconds slower for the first 800 here than they did in the fillies, with Blue Largo leading 3 seconds slower than they did in the Group 1. So it was a crawl. The winner, Wonderful World, of course, in the yellow cap and the pinkish colours, is too good. Comes from midfield. Deneva in the green. I'm not sure, got lost. Back to last, and the much unheralded Wordsmith in the white colours on the fence.
What David Hayes obviously got another horse, Deneva. It's Derby bound, looked very, very good, was the real closer in the race too. Shark Bite, I thought, had every chance. Okay, got held up momentarily there, but I still reckon the wrap's a bit too big for him.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Shark Bite thing. I think we've overrated Shark Bite, and I've got these horses, apart from the winner, who's obviously a much better horse at Caulfield and competitive, I've got the rest of them rated in the B grade.
Huh? Always do. And as I said yesterday, COB Sportsbet bet 220. Now 160, 140, 140, and bookies just put up what the tape put up, $1.60. Just extraordinary.
Well, it's a waste of time, Bruce, isn't it?
Still collection, $6. Dominated by Miss Finland. We're looking forward to seeing her in action. And will she go to the age Caulfield Guineas after this? I think that's the tip, and we'll find. Let's have a look at it going. Harada Sun. Now you can argue Harada Sun was unlucky, but she was good. She is.
Run, no way changes. This time, and Miss Evangeline Estelle Collection flew the gates and landed in front. Jacqueline Ruse up second, and further out there on the track, travelling forward, Lectrice, and also She Will Be Loved when they settle down. Now, Miss Finland is back 3 wide in midfield when they settle into stride. Lectrice took it up on the, at the 800, they're strung right out in the Tranquil Star. It's Lectrice, a neck in front. On the outside, She Will Be Loved, 3 lengths further back than Jacqueline Rouge. 4th, Estelle Collection, a half length further back than My Only Hope, 5th. 2 to Miss Evangeline, followed by Animato. Miss Finland on the tail of the stablemate Animato. Over on the inside then, further back in the race, Miss Fantabulous, followed by well back Satin Robes, Our Weaver, Just Mamont, Rena's Lady, and Jardine last of all. On the turn they race, and She Will Be Loved has gone up now to Lectrice. Estelle Collection further out. The widest runner, Miss Finland, coming down the outside. She's getting a clear run. The leader now is on the inside. She Will Be Loved. Here comes Miss Finland. She is swamping them with Animato. Miss Finland out wide, and Animato has swept to the front together. It's Miss Finland and Animato coming back. Miss Finland the outside and Animato. Miss Finland in front. She gets there. Miss Finland ahead 2 on the line to Animato. 3 away third, My Only Hope, and flashing home is Just Mamont. Then further back in the race would have been She Will Be Loved, Miss Fantabulous, Estelle Collection, Satin Robes, Our Weaver, Lectrice, well back Rena's Lady, just coming in.
And champion filly, Miss Finland. She's run quicker time than the males, 124.39. They're in 124.67. She's had to outlast the stablemate. Don't underestimate Animato. My Only Hope's run on well as expected. Race for David Hayes. Great race for Reduced Choice side. 1, 2, 3 here. Miss Finland, Animato, My Only Hope. Danny O'Brien be pleased here. My Only Hope, and also there's just she take on the males in the Caulfield Guineas, and should she tackle the Cox Plate?
Well, I think she should take on the males in the Caulfield Guineas. if for no other reason they can win the 1,000 guineas with the runner-up, Anamato. She's capable of beating the males in the Caulfield Guineas. I don't think there's any question about that, even though it hasn't been done terribly often. But she's already proved that she's at the very least, competitive with the best of the males. And these two Hayes fillies here run away from the others. Just Moment is the Giants Causeway filly, the grey and the blue colours, running into third. Her late sectionals were excellent, and I think...
There's two questions there.
Horses. Well, David's recommendation is Caulfield Guineas and the Cox Plate. That's David's. It's up to the owners now of Miss Finland to make that call. Craig Williams...
It's a punt for David, because the 1,000 guinea, you've got a punt that Miss Finland's going to run a strong mile against colts. Now, it probably will happen.
Pedigree says she will.
Pedigree says she will. But it's not always a given, you know, it's not a given. And if he goes to the Caulfield Guineas with her and she doesn't run out the strong mile against the colts and gets beaten, and he gets beaten in the 1,000 guineas as well, which Anamato could get beaten in the 1,000 guineas, you don't win any Group 1, or do you just take Miss Finland to the 1,000 guineas and virtually rubber stamp a Group 1?
Will she run in a Cox Plate if she comes through and wins the
I hope
Guineas?
so.
Right. A different shot for 60. Similar odds here on course. Opened up 225. They've been 370 yesterday. Pompey Rule, that's clear second pick. 360 on the tote. 3 to 1. $4 on course. Our Smoking Joe's overs at 9.50. Only 6.50 on course. Also around the 12, 14, 20 to 1 mark. We've got good hopes of winning a good race in the spring. But this race clearly dominated by 5 El Segundo, 11 Pompey Rule.
Day about his appearance.
Well, he has some dapples, Keith. First time this spring we've seen this horse dappled up, and he's really thrived.
Well, probably not. Won't be the be-all and end-all, I wouldn't think, unless she ran poorly. But
It's Bruce, and of course our Smoking Joe ran second in this race last year to Perlin. The previous winner was Elstrom, and before that Lee Friedman with Mummify. And
Line ready for the Underwood. Line is good. Signal they're racing. Or Molotov, Knuckle going out of the gates and missed it about a half length, and Serenade Rose began brilliantly today. She bounced in front, but she's looking for a leader in Casual Pass. Our Smoke and Joe, Pompey Ruler, Roman Arch are all coming over with maybe better when they settle down. Last of all is Art Success, sorting themselves out at the 1400. Casual Pass takes it up, rival 3 wide. They've dropped the speed from Centre Fighter back on the inside of Above Deck and Polar Bear. El Segundo's got 3 behind him. Purdy, Aquadamore and Art Success. 800 out in the Underwood. Casual Pass a length in front. Maybe Better's gone up on the outside, but he's been off the track all the way to join Casual Pass. Testifiable tracks up third. Fourth in the race is Roman Arch. Serenade Rose back on the fence from Polar Bear. Pompey Ruler. Our Smoke and Joe. There goes El Segundo. Then Molotov followed further back by Above Deck. Purdy. Aquadamore will be wide on the turn. Centre Fighter second last, and 3 to Art Success last of all. Around the turn they come. Maybe Better going up to Casual Pass. Polar Bear. El Segundo the widest runner. Serenade Rose trying to get out from Testifiable and Pompey Ruler. In the straight, here comes El Segundo. Oh, look at him go now. He's letting down. He's raced to Polar Bear. Then Casual Pass and further back Serenade Rose. But El Segundo, here's the favourite for the Cox Plate. He is going to blitz them. El Segundo streaks away to win 2 lengths to Polar Bear. Molotov got up to run third from Casual Pass, maybe Better. Centre Fighter, no luck, got out late. Then our Smoke and Joe, followed by Roman Arch. Pompey Ruler, followed by Purdy. Testifiable, Serenade Rose, not a lot of luck in the straight. Then Above Deck and back near the tail, Art Success, bar 1, Aquadamore.
Stunning performance by El Segundo. Any doubts you had about him for the rest of the spring, totally erased by this performance. Pace just backed off mid-race. Gouch was awake to it, got him out and running, put Pompey Ruler back in the pocket, and the acceleration of a top-class weight for age horse Steve was there.
The question mark out of the race is the Craven Stakes form no good? Is the whole form from that Flemington meeting on Craven Stakes Day when inside and on pace was favoured, is it all suspect? Maybe that's the case, but the Craven Stakes form certainly hasn't held up. El Segundo for Colin Little, he had that inflammation in a joint 2 weeks ago. He missed a gallop, but it hasn't stopped him here this afternoon. And Darren Gouchy's superb ride. One on the Group 1 Underwood Stakes. Where will he go?
Anyway, pleasing, little setback, but pleasing to confirm what we thought. We didn't think the 18 would be a problem, and he's just got that turn of foot, he can just put him away, can't he?
Well, before him, he's done very well. He's never let us down. He's an ultra honest horse, and he's certainly got a lot of ability. A lot more harder races to come up, and maybe better horses, but he's up to it. And
so that's a terrific collect. Colin Little joins Bruce Clark.
Just having a chat to the handicap. You weren't thinking about the Caulfield Cup. Well, Brian is the favourite for the Cox Plate, $3.50 now after that brilliant win, beating Polar Bear, Korea Bear. About it, El Segundo is right on track. There's a host of horses here who catch the eye, a host of horses. Perhaps if jockeys had the chance to ride them again, would change some tactics. Steve, your overview of the race.
Well, Bruce, the lack of pace was fairly critical to it and certainly means that the winner's performance, you believe what you see. He overcame that lack of pace. Darren Gauci got moving early. We're watching the finish again. Serenade Rose, of course, in the pink and the blue. She didn't get a crack at them in the run home. Sphenophyta in those Freedman colours and Our Smoking John on its outside. They're just left of picture now. Neither of them had any luck in the race. Pompey Ruler. Mick Price felt he probably jarred up a little on that firm ground, but I think you believe what you see with El Segundo.
Say pretty well, Steve. I agree with you. I think
At way for age racing with a horse with a turn of foot like El Segundo. Serenade Rose, she just had no luck whatsoever. Sveno Fighter got back, got buffeted, really finished on strong. Fantastic effort from him.
And look, I'm sure there's still more improvement in him.
Now, you've ridden a lot of great horses, Darren, over the years, over the 20, 30 years that you've been riding, but he's got acceleration that only the special ones have, doesn't he?
Well, that's his main attribute. He's certainly got a great turn of foot. He's one of those horses, you know, like he come from well back yesterday, which he generally does race there. Well, you do have to ask him. You only have to ask him, you know, tell him, come on, mate, quick enough, and he'll quick enough for you. He sort of does everything himself. He's like, if he was...
About real good Caulfield Cup trials in that.
were there? What?
Speno Fighter, who won't get in the race unless 75th,
he wins. Isn't he?
Yeah, Molotov won't get in the race.
you like Molotov.
He's a good horse. He'll win the Caulfield Cup.
Your horse? What about that?
Yeah, he raced well.
Polar Bear.
Yeah, he did fourth up there. He's coming to a peak at the right time, but he's an old horse, but there's a win in him somewhere.
Sveno Fighter will beat Molotov if either of them get a run.
What about Serenade Rose?
Oh, well. Stephen King, I suppose, has had 3 luckless runs on her, and I thought the owners might be getting a bit itchy before that, but I think they're feeling well and truly itchy now.
She's got short memories.
I know he's won most of her races, but, you know, how many times can you keep striking trouble and keep maintaining the ride?
Actually, the Rupert Clark Stakes and Miss Andretti, 280 Super Tab, 410 and 320. Favourite on the totes. She's favourite on course, not as short as that. You can get 9-4 on course. Second pick is clearly the other mare, 12 Rewaya, 460 on Super Tab, around a 420 chance on course. 290 New South Wales Rewaya, 350 Unitab, as I say, about 420. Away from that, it's about 8-1 the rest. Nick and Nero, next pick at that quote. So that's the Rupert Clark Stakes. And money, as I speak, has come for Rewaya. There's Super Kid, second to barely a moment this race last year. Blinkers on first.
In with Storm Alert. Super Kid and Doubting have gone forward now, perfectly ready to come up with Volaton. Miss Andretti, Caprese Strip, Thin and Crispy. Racing this time, Rewaya flew out down on the inside, a bit slow to get going. Thin and Crispy and Cargo Colt, and going back was Natural Blitz, and there goes Minson, landing in front with Perfectly Ready. Rewaya third the fence, and Caprese Strip pushing up in the middle. When they settle down just off them, Volaton out 3 deep, followed by Miss Andretti, Super Kid from Bird Dancer, Nick and Nero, then Undue, Storm Alert, Doubting, and well back Thin and Crispy over racing from Natural Blitz. Cargo Colt last of all, the pace is very keen. Volaton charging out wide, going up to Minson, then to Nick and Nero, Super Kid, then Doubting, Undue, Natural Blitz, Thin and Crispy, Storm Alert, and 2 lengths to Cargo Colt, 650 out. Volaton at work to the front, a length in front of Perfectly Ready and Minson, then Caprese Strip, Rewaya back on the fence, Super Kid starting a run, then further back Miss Andretti, held up in traffic from Doubting, followed by Undue and Bird Dancer. Around the turn they come, Volaton from Perfectly Ready. Minson got cut out for a run, Rewaya pushing away out, and further out his Super Kid. Miss Andretti can't get out, halfway up the running, Perfectly Ready, and out wide Undue is swamping them. Rewaya getting through, Undue and Rewaya hit the front from Super Kid. Miss Andretti starting to fly, Undue, Rewaya, Miss Andretti lunging, Rewaya in front, Rewaya wins it a long hit on the line. Miss Andretti third is either Super Kid or Undue. Great finish, then Bird Dancer followed by Perfectly Ready, Nick and Nero, Caprese Strip, Doubting, then Storm Alert, Cargo Colt, followed by Thin and Crispy.
Well, Williams and Hayes do it again in this race. So they do it last year with barely a moment. Rewaya gets the Group 1 she was after. Miss Andretti absolutely a certainty beat. Undue's run a cracking race to run third, but Rewaya gets it. 123, and she finally has achieved that.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Great ride by Craig. But a few worrying moments. I thought she might have skipped away a bit better than that, but, you know, Miss Andretti's obviously pretty damn good because they went head and head, didn't they? They really fought it out strongly, and I was thrilled with Super Kid too. He was right there.
Yeah, good race now.
For that, we'll be making a decision on whether we go Cox Plating or we go for the mares race on Derby Day, the mile.
With your class, is she Cox Plate class?
With the run she had, I thought she would have won a bit easy today, but maybe Miss Andretti is flying.
He has, Bruce. I guess we have to temper that performance with the fact that she had 51 kilos here this afternoon, the minimum in a handicap race. I think she'll go on to be highly competitive in the Toorak.
Feel it at home, she actually works.
Andretti should have won, but a horse such as Rawaya has the ability to take the breaks and capitalise on them, doesn't she?
Yeah, look, I'm not too sure about Miss Andretti.
Doesn't worry you too much either, does it?
No, I was happy she stuck her head out. Look, we did get a lovely run from Barrier 1. She puts herself into the
Toorak Handicap and possibly the Cox Plate, beating Miss Andretti. Unlucky, we know that. Unju's going well. Simon Marshall, Craig, you
red cap. He also shut the door on you right there. And Unju, he's a Group 1 winner in the Dubin 10,000, so he's no slouch. And then you've got to come back halfway down the straight, pick your momentum up and ping again, while Rawaya in the blue colours is getting through after a lovely cushy run with just the 51 kilos on her back, remembering she drew 1. So Craig Williams had one option, ride her for a little bit of luck and hope the breaks come your way. And that's what happened there with...
Oh, very good performance, I think. Bearing in mind this was a handicap and she had 51 kilos. But terrific performance. They did run quickly, as most of us expected.
Challenger. Let's go to Craig Newitt. Steve did barely a moment last year.
Yes, and the past two winners of this race have gone on to take the Toorak, both jumping 2.5 kilos, barely a moment, and Regal Roller. We looked at young Daniel.
From them. Miss Andretti, well, Craig, unfortunately, just went to sleep at the wrong time. He was happy to cover ground at its last two runs, and he was reluctant to come out at the perfect time, let Super Kid get around him.
What was the perfect time? Why was the perfect time the 700? Well, you know, the mare, she's suspect at 1400. He could not go with Super Kid.
She is suspect.
She is not suspect at 1400.
I don't think she is suspect. No. Well, I don't think you could say that now. There's no doubt in my mind she should have won the race. I mean, if she gets out with any luck, you know, 10 metres earlier, she wins the race. And look, she's going fantastic, and Rawaya's had no luck in the past and got a bit of luck and got the mob, and well done to them. But Miss Andretti giving Rawaya weight, it should have beaten.
That's what Group 1... But you can't tell me.
Luck might have went the other way. He might have got a card into the race with Super Kid. It just didn't happen. I thought it was a total forgive ride from
Undue was the one that got in her way most of the time.
That's not worried about. Look, Undue beaten 7 lengths by racing to win last start. Now, what does that say about the form? Come on. Well, he has been above himself, though, Undue.
I don't know. I think they'll find those horses, they'll find these sprinters tough to beat when they come to Melbourne.
Now stakes for the mares. Good race coming up here. There's been a good sign for Caulfield. And here is the reigning Caulfield Cup favourite. Number 1, Zipping. 250, 230, 280. So got out the 260 on course, and it's been backed. In the market, Field Hunter around the 990 mark, shorter on course. Pick on course around the 440 mark. Down to 11, Marju Snip, 940, at point shorter on course. Growl second pick. Good race coming up here, the Naturalism. And will we see a legitimate Caulfield Cup favourite in Zipping, carrying 58 under handicap conditions, coming off 2 cracking weight for race performances, Steve.
Those 2 runs are...
There might be for number 1, Zipping, because it's just firmed in the last second of betting. Zipping 260, 250 and...
Bengo's gone to the outside gate. Zipping towards the centre of the favourite. They're off in the final event. Brindabella's jumped OK today. In fact, they came out in a good line. Torquay was going back. Field Hunter, Brindabella and also Growl. And Zipping pushing on for the front. Vengo and Showberry out wide are coming over pretty quickly. Zipping in front, but he'll get a leader in Vengo. And Marju, Snip and Showberry, they're all pushing forward. Vengo taking, getting all the favours. The top weight 4th. Growl in front of him. Then Marju, Honours Yearn, and last of all to the outside, Kefaloo. Vengo trying to go for home with the 700. He's 4 lengths in front of Showberry. 2 then to Growl, Zipping on the move. 2 then to Marju Snip. Then Field Hunter from Dolphin, Joe Sentire. A gap in the race, Magic Instinct from Brindabella and Tommy Franks. Vengo 2 in front of Showberry up to the turn. 2 to Growl. Zipping being niggled at on the outside by the rider. Then Marju Snip when they turn from Brindabella into the straight. Vengo from Showberry. Zipping a length off. Growl trying to get out inside. Zipping at the moment. At the 300, Showberry got his head in front. Growl getting out. Zipping is grinding away. Vengo struggles. Showberry hit the front. Zipping on the outside, starting to pegging back with Growl. On the outside, Zipping going after Showberry. He gets up on the line, Zipping. Last favourite home, zipping a half head to Showberry. Third in the race, Growl and Magic Instinct ran on for fourth. A gap to Field Hunter, Brenda Bella. Then came Torquay from Centire. The favourite takes the last.
He does, Brian, with 58 kilos. That's a sterling effort, 58 kilos. Look, Showberry was terrific with his big weight. Only a half kilo off the winner. Growl was good on pace. There's a couple of good ones here as well. Magic Instinct and also Torquay, both going well. But none better going than this horse, Zipping. Stephen Arnold.
Good race. They've run good time here at Caulfield. They don't regularly run a great deal quicker than that for the 2002 1.8. And Zipping impressed.
Well, he toughed it out well with his 58 kilos yesterday. He's going to get a penalty to be announced tomorrow, probably about 1 kilo. He needs it. He's number 42 on the order of entry. He can cop it too. 51.5 he is currently. Showberry and Growl, 2 good runs behind here. Torquay and Magic Instinct. Steve, your thoughts on Zipping? Is he a legitimate Caulfield Cup favourite on that performance?
Well, he's a legitimate Caulfield Cup major contender. To win a race such as that with 58 is a good performance. We see him just 3 from the right of picture now, about to peel on the leaders. Showberry going to the front. And Showberry, what a good horse he's been. 57.5 himself yesterday. Zipping gradually wears him down, and left of picture you see Magic Instinct in the nose roll and Torquay on his outside, both making terrific late ground. One observation I would make about this race, the first 3 home were probably the legitimate 2,000 metre horses who had good runs on the speed. Virtually every other runner in this race is now looking for a 1.5 miles.
Simon, what do you think here?
If he was going to be a Caulfield Cup winner, he should have dropped them a bit quicker and a bit smarter.
I like those other 2 runs though, Steve. Magic Instinct and Torquay. He's going to be the one who beats the penalties. Torquay, I think he's going really well. But so.
Yeah, they're listed Naturalism, taken out by Zipping. Alf, are you still a fan for the Caulfield Cup?
I've stuck with it all along.
Yes, you
I
have.
didn't have anything on it yesterday. Down to 51.5 in the Caulfield Cup. It's adaptable. It can take up the right sort of posse. And as far as I'm concerned, it will be winning. Loved Showberry's performance. Tough. Growl, very good from a good gate. Magic Instinct. Look, well, we've pinpointed it a couple of weeks ago. It's going very well. And Torquay with blinkers on may continue to improve.
Lloyd Williams would be very surprised if he copped a penalty out of that win. He said that we've beaten Showberry by a small margin. He's got 51.5 only in the Caulfield Cup. Only 2 horses in 25 years have copped a penalty out of the race. He said, Greg Carpenter, it's up to you. But
fair dinkum, Lloyd. Lloyd and Lee have been, you know, swapping stories or something, because if he doesn't deserve a penalty out of that race, what does? He's carried 58 kilos. It was a tremendous win. I mean, he sat up on top of a strong speed and he's kept grinding.
Obviously, you don't train it, so you're just rubbing the boot in for a penalty there. I thought it was a tremendous performance as well. He chased a hot speed.
Does he deserve a penalty?
No.
Oh, you believe he does? You're just being argumentative, you little rat.
he said that. Lloyd said to me, don't worry, if we don't get a penalty and we don't get a run in the Caulfield Cup, we'll go to the Moonee Valley Cup. Yeah. You're very close to Lloyd, aren't you?
Well, good horse in Sydney, Fast and Famous. Rich?
Yeah, thank you very much, Bruce. Yeah, well into the red here on track. Fast and Famous, but there's a lot of money on track here for the Queenslander. Devil Inside. 8 Fast and Famous. Still odds on. $1.60 is a bit skinny, about a quarter of a point longer. It's less than each way odds on course, a point and a half shorter than that. $1.60 Fast and Famous. He's touch better on course. And
ready to go. And they're away, and Devil Inside broke brilliantly from the inside stall, and the mare's a length in front early on. Posadas is rolling forward, and King Rex, Fast and Famous, is going to ease back and take a trail. He'll settle fourth one. This is fourth one off the fence, and then came Triple D. Right Sun getting onto the back of the favourite, coming to the turn. 2 lengths behind them, Magic Marvo, and then came 4 Valor and Sam Sung a Song. Devil Inside still under a stranglehold coming around the turn. Leads from Posadas, and now Fast and Famous is produced on the outside. King Rex was further back, and then came Right Sun. It's Devil Inside and Posadas. He has to get busy on Fast and Famous, but it's coming at them strongly now, and Fast and Famous went straight to the lead, and he might be something special, this horse. He's running right away the last 100 metres, and Fast and Famous beats Right Sun and Posadas. Devil Inside and King Rex fought out fourth from Samsung a Song, and further back behind them next we had 4 Valor, Magic Marvo, and last in was Triple D. Reduced Choice from Zelinda. He's a bay horse, a 4-year-old owned by the Yellow Brick Road Proprietary Limited Syndicate, trained by John O'Shea and ridden by Darren Beebman. Here he comes back.
It was very good beating Wrightson and Posadas. He's dashed home in 33.67. You'd like about the fact that he keeps winning. That's 5 in a row.
I think it was probably a similar field to Tasby Jack beat, and I'm not going to enter into argument. I think you can only beat what's put in front of you. He's won 5 in a row. He's got that acceleration. He'll accelerate off a fast pace. A little bit worried that the Salinger's still 5 weeks away. You know, luckily he's with a very, very good trainer in John O'Shea.
Okay, well, Miss Andretti v Fast and Famous, what would you do?
Well, at this stage, he'd be getting a good bit of weight off it, and therefore I'd go his way. But I'm not saying...
He's a beauty. He's a sharp colt, this fella.
Thank God they taught him to settle behind that field and didn't do what you said, Ronnie, and teach him to race, you know, in front, pulling.
What?
No, he's a good colt. Look, he's come a long way in a short time. I think he's at a peak. How long can you hold a horse at a peak for?
Well, they're heading towards the Salinger.
No, well, that's a long way off.
And they're going to run him in the Gilgai as well.
Yeah, well, that might be his grand final.
Well, yeah, but the Gilgai, they're using the Gilgai as the precursor to the Salinger to give him a look down the straight.
Yeah. Could be a good training performance if he can hold that horse in that form for so long.
I'll bet he's a good straight horse too, because he sits up handy and he keeps hammering, and that's the sign of a good straight horse.
I wonder who...
Stakes, the Group 2. Number 1, Pure Energy, 21.60, 10 points longer, Just Dancing. $5.30, a point short of that on track, and favourite. Gallant Tess, 6.70, is spot on. Catachuchu, 10 points shorter on track. The second favourite is number 6, Montmello, $3.50, but she's favourite on the tote. She's a point and a half longer with the boogie on track. Cheeky Choice, $4.60, a point and a half longer. Heat of the Fire, $23.90. You can add Tola, $26, 10 points shorter. Cheeky Choice, $4.90, a half point longer on track. Heat of the Fire
has got the button and the fillies are away, and Just Dancing has missed the start today. She's a clear last. Cheeky Choice led. Jet Wash is going up on the outside, and Pure Energy is going to split that pair, so there's 3 vying for the lead at the end of 200 metres. 3 or 4 lengths to My Lady's Chain. Tyler whips them in. They're coming to the 600 metres in the T-Rose, and the leader Jet Wash from Cheeky Choice. Back on the inside was Pure Energy from My Lady's Chamber, and then came Empress Jade. Just Dancing tried to push out underneath Heat of the Fire, and further back was Gallant Tess, and Montmello is coming down the extreme outside. As they get to the 300, it's Jet Wash in front. On the outside, Cheeky Choice is looming up from My Lady's Chamber, and Montmello is starting to run on, but Cheeky Choice went for home at the 200. Kicked nicely clear from down the outside, My Lady's Chamber. Gallant Tess and Montmello are trying to run on as well. It's Cheeky Choice clinging on. It's a half a length in front, and it wins the T-Rose. Photo second and third, Gallant Tess or My Lady's Chamber, and then came Empress Jade, followed by Montmello and Catachuchu and Amatola, and then came Heat of the Fire, Just Dancing. Further back was Jet Wash, and another poor run from Pure Energy, finishing a long last.
Well, what a sire, Reduced Choice. He just ran 1-2. And there's Huey Bowman bringing this fine filly by Reduced Choice back to scale. And she's out of a mare by Carleon called...
It's the Group 2 T-Rose beating Gallant Tess, My Lady's Chamber, and you have to say, Kenny, Montmello, favourite, disappointing.
Yeah, Montmello's not as good as I thought she was. I let go on her yesterday, and I thought she had a chance. The winner, Gay, is all excited about her. Flight Stakes, Caulfield, 1,000 guineas. She won't. She's not in the class of Miss Finland or a few of the other Melbourne fillies, but she's a good game filly, and you know, that's the best there was around to come and race her. Full marks to her. I think she went well.
She's $7 now for the 1,000 guineas. She's third pick, Miss Finland and Anamoto.
Oh, she finished within 15 lengths of Miss Finland.
Well, that's it exactly.
They ran ridiculously slow time. And Ken, on a serious note, this track yesterday, did you think it pretty much played to the on pace?
Very much so. Like off track yesterday, it was.
Look, I don't think there's much between these fillies in Sydney at the moment. There's no star amongst them, that's for sure.
How far off Miss Finland?
Oh, look, panels.
4 lengths?
Yeah.
4 lengths off Miss Finland, these fillies? I reckon that's about where they are.
You know, we've got the Flight Stakes coming up. It's anyone. It's Rafferty's rules. There's anything goes there, whatever gets the right run. Gallant Test.
We've got one of the features coming up, the Nature's Way Hill Stakes. Group 2, 86th of a series, 1,900 metres, and it's set to go in about 10 minutes' time. The betting, Rich? Very skinny, the tote, isn't it? Eramine, $1.30 New South Wales. I can tell you he's only about 20 cents longer on track. He's at that on track. Desert War, well, a few of the Gay Waterhouse runners have been backed, and this one's just firmed a half point, $8.60. He's 3 points shorter. Eramine, that is spot on. That's what's happening here at Rosehill Garden.
And they're off and racing. Grand Zulu broke in front. Takes up the early lead. Larry Cassidy very aggressive on Desert War to get that horse up and running to go up outside the lead. And back in behind there, Mirramine in third spot. 2 or 3 lengths to minute. So they wheel round that first bend, and Desert War is rolling along. He's trying to win the race back to back, and he leads by about 3 or 4 lengths, and he's trying to do it all the way. Now extends his lead to 5 or 6. Grand Zulu running second. Mirramine is third. At the 1200, ensuring a very solid tempo. His lead is 6 or 7 lengths over Grand Zulu, who's trying at the 800 metres, and Desert War Daring Tactics today leads by about 4 lengths on Grand Zulu. Boss is starting to rev up on Mirramine. He's going up on the outside to share second. Then came Head Turner back on the inside of Men at Work, followed by Railings, and further back was Forum and Ice Chariot last of all. It's Desert War the leader at the 450. Mirramine's a length away. Then came Grand Zulu, followed by Men at Work. Head Turner's been locked away on the inside. He gets room now, and Railings coming down the outside. Desert War still the leader at the 300. Mirramine's under full throttle now, and further back was Grand Zulu, and then came Head Turner. Desert War still holding on here. Mirramine's taking a half an hour to get to him, and then came Grand Zulu, but Desert War is going to win the Hill Stakes back to back. He holds off Mirramine, and Desert War wins it. Mirramine second, Grand Zulu third, and then came Head Turner, followed by Railings and Forum, and further back behind them was Men at Work, and last in was Ice Chariot.
Boil over in the Hill Stakes. Great ride, Larry Cassidy. Grand old campaigner. He doesn't know that he's getting older, but he's racing with plenty of zest.
Oh, look, he's going better than ever. Do you know what he was? Only just did his last run.
For another tilt at the Randwick Mile, one that he loves.
Oh, win it. I'll tell you that. He'll win it because he's just so...
Hill Stakes, the T-Race Stakes, another race, and she's laughing. $5.60 and $1.50 the winner, $1.04 for...
Let's start with the winner, Desert War. Great tactics by Larry Cassidy and Gay Waterhouse.
That won the horse the race. Larry Cassidy said yesterday, straight after the race, when he had a look around at about the 1,000, 1,200 metres, he couldn't believe how far behind the others were, considering the speed he'd gone. He then just let his horse absolutely lope from there to the turn. They chased him to the turn. They then had to keep going and make a 1,000-metre run home. He only had to then click up and sprint home the last 400 metres. They were never going to beat him. Great ride, Larry Cassidy. Eremine, I've got an open mind. You say, well, gee, you know, he should have beat Desert War. The way the race was run, I don't think it was possible for him to beat Desert War. He's still, Railings and Head Turner, 2 absolute top-class horses, Group 1 winners, failed to make any ground on Eremine. Therefore, I don't think Eremine's run was as disappointing as you may first think. The big run of the race, the super run of the race, was Grand Zulu. He is a Group 1 winner, getting into a Caulfield Cup with a good weight.
Could go forever, but they've run home in 33.9. The only quickest last 600 yesterday at Rosehill was Fast and Famous, which would hardly surprise. So I think everything in that race, the likes of Forum and Men at Work and even Ice Chariot, their runs were satisfactory, and I thought that Eremine's run was superb.
All right, well, so Glenn...
But then when he did slow up, they didn't make their ground up. Down the back straight, they're running 13s, and from about the 1,000 to the 600, they're running about 13s, and they didn't make the ground up when they should have.
He made Mirramine make a very long run, which just told on Mirramine in the end, and his was a brave run. Don't give up on him.
It was a good run.
It was a good effort from Grand Zulu too. He's an improved horse too. I wouldn't sack anything really that's behind them. I think the
back the BB Bounce. Gloaming Stakes over 1,800 metres. It's the Group 3 for the 3-year-olds at set weights. One Empire's Choice is a dominant favourite. $3.40 the tote. That is spot on the mark. Black Gold, rock solid. $9 on the tote. 3 points shorter on track. The tote, a 1.5 longer on track. Fair enough. $3.30 on the tote. A fraction longer on track, about 1/4 point. All Black Gold has been rock solid. Has not budged one iota from it. Tuesday, Joy. $4.60, a half point longer on track.
Gate snapped back, they're off and racing. And Pacino from the inside jumped out well. So too did Macau Causeway. It's showing plenty of dash with Esperanza, and All Black Gold was away well. Then came Dane Quest, followed by Sermon and Patriotism, making ground around the outside. Further back was He's No Pie to Catchword. Empire's Choices right off the track on the first turn. Tuesday, All Black Gold. He's had a nice run back on the inside from Macau Causeway. He's No Pie to edging up 3 wide. Sermon back on the rail. And further back behind him next is Famous, Dane Quest, followed by Tuesday Joy. Bomber Command's a long way back with Catchword, Volta Bolter. Empire's Choice is still back last, and he's 10 off the lead and being pushed along. As they make the turn, the leader is Pacino from Esperanza. He brings All Black Gold up on the outside. Sermon's looking for a run near the inside, and further back Patriotism, but All Black Gold sprinted up to hit the lead at the 300, shot clear in the Gloaming. Sermon goes after him with He's No Pater, then Pacino. Empire's Choice is not in the race. It's All Black Gold, nicely clear. Over in second spot, Sermon. Tuesday Joy is winding up on the inside, but All Black Gold, given a lovely ride by J Ford, wins the Gloaming Stakes from Tuesday Joy. Sermon was third, and then came He's No Pater, followed by Patriotism and Volta Bolter. Then came in behind them next Bomber Command and Pacino, followed by Esperanza, Macau Causeway, and then came Dane Quest. Empire's Choice didn't fire a shot, and Catchword was last in.
Well, that horse was double figure odds in the fixed odds betting, and well, he was back from $6 to $5 on track. He won in weaker company last week, and he's followed it up in 34.89. The interim dividends, $7.40 and $2.60 the winner.
Three winners previous back in the green and yellow bark Cummings colours, white cap.
The new Northerly, was it you called him, Steve?
Empire's Choice.
Empire's Choice, I can't remember that. Yes, I did. And
I'll tell you something, don't give up on him. Look, it was farcical. Boss went looking to try and get him up there and find a spot because of the way the track was playing. He was a beaten horse in the back of the race. They bet about $14 pre-post in those fixed odds this winner. He started 4-1 on course. He's a good, useful horse. The second horse, Tuesday Joy, who's out of the Oaks winner, Joy Denise, and she's by Carnegie. She'll come into her own in the Wakeful and the Victoria Oaks.
She's $15 for
Rosehill Gardens. Favourite on the tote is number 3, Regal Cheer. As we look at them, Newton's Rings at $3.80, a little bit longer in the race longer. $4.20 Johann's Toy is spot on. $9.60 Storm Hill. They bet that, but he's firm 2.5 points. $54 for Landlover, and is now overs for Johann's Toy. She's 50 or 60 cents shorter. About $9 Storm Hill. He's 2.5 points shorter. 14.
And Martoon broke in front. Storm Hill goes through underneath it to take the lead shortly after the jump, and Regal Cheer pressing forward around the outside. It goes up to share second now. Then came like 10 or 12 off the lead. It's Storm Hill bringing them down the side. He's carting them along by 2 lengths on Regal Cheer. That mare's got the drop on the leader. Then came Newton's Rings, followed by Martoon. And then came Temple Hill going up on the inside. Further back was Johann's Toy. She's midfield at the moment, followed by Belmonte, Landloper, and Accumulators last. But Storm Hill, he's gone for home. He's opened up 5 lengths on the turn. In second spot is Regal Cheer. Rod still sitting quietly about to chase this leader from Newton's Rings. Further back was Temple Hill. Johann's Toy, I think she might be giving away a bit too much start. It's still Storm Hill in front of the 200. Here comes Regal Cheer with the big strides going after Storm Hill. Temple Hills is trying to push out of a pocket from Newton's Rings. Storm Hill's just in front. It's just in front. Storm Hill from Temple Hills, but Storm Hill all the way from Temple Hills and Newton's Rings. And then came Regal Cheer, who had a chance from Johann's Toy. Further back behind them, Landlord of torrential storms, so all the good sires have certainly come to the top today. Tim Martin, the trainer, Jim Cassidy in the saddle. Here's the winner of the last.
He's obviously back in good form now. He's number 41 on the order of, 42 on the order of entry for the Caulfield Cup. He's float?
I certainly do. Look, this is a horse who won a Grafton Cup. As you say, he beat Railings in the Kingston Town Stakes. Railings was good enough to win a Caulfield Cup. He got beaten a lip by Primus in the Tramway Handicap 1400 metres, one of the best sprinters around. Could any other Caulfield Cup contenders do that? And here he is, he's taking on the likes of Regal Cheer, Temple Hills, the last start, the weight for age winner in Adelaide, and Newton's Rings beaten a lip by Eremine last start, and he beat them all over 1500 metres. I think it was a sensational run.
I'll talk to parochial Steve.
Well, so it is pretty good form. I like this sort of horse from a Caulfield Cup point of view, Storm Hill.
He's a good horse.
Johann's Toy disappointed.
Made up good ground late, but I thought it was a fantastic tactical ride on a hard track where it's hard to make up ground.
They're looking at the Caulfield Cup for this horse, but I think he'd just be a nice pacemaker for him in the Caulfield Cup. I don't know that he'd be able to race that pattern and run out a strong 2,400 metres in that company. But
it's Morfettville now, the big one from New Zealand, Stoney Bridge Stakes, and they're bringing them up to line. Sea Change is the New Zealand favourite, just ahead of Darcy Brahma. Both very good horses. And the Gold Coast.
for the start, Group 1 racing. Quality.
They're off. Getting back a little bit here was Hurrah, Christoph and Sir Slick and Sea Change all came away quickly. Darcy Brahma's going forward on the outside, up towards the lead, and also there is Calvin. Rags to Riches copped a bit of a... Stoney Bridge, the races, right on, 500 metres to go. Coming to the home corner, he's made his move on Sea Change, Christoph on the inside, Darcy Brahma, Sea Change is after them over on the outside. Darcy Brahma in the centre got to the lead. Sea Change, she's travelling a little better. She's put the head in front. Darcy Brahma's asked to answer the call. He's trying to fight back Anders. Getting through, Hurrah. Sea Change in front. Darcy Brahma's trying to lift in, Hurrah. Sea Change and Darcy Brahma. Heads up, heads down. Sea Change. Sea Change got the Stoney Bridge to Darcy Brahma. What a horse race. Hurrah was the next. They were followed through then by Calvin Lillikin. Then Sir Slick Christoph. Brahma would not go away. The colt and the mare, stride for stride inside the last 200 metres. And it was a matter of who was the best. I don't know that either was inferior. Hurrah's made to...
Aboard Sea Change, 8 from 9 now.
She's a good mare, isn't it? Good mare. Like Darcy Brahma's no slouch. I think he's the horse of the year over there. A bit of controversy about that one, but look, they had a two-horse war, they both had their chance, and this boy, Gavin McEwen, hasn't he made a name for himself? He's found the right horse, and he's been riding her beautifully.
Yeah, she had the drop on him. I feel a little sorry for Darcy Brahma in that instance. I mean,
but they weren't charging her.
No, I know, but she just had the sit on him, but she's very good, and I think with the way that the older horses are here in Australia at the moment, I think, though, certainly she can come across here and be very competitive at the highest level, and Darcy Brahma...
Let's run through these for Michael Escander. Caulfield, Guineas, there she is, favourite, $3. The filly, Harada Sun, was $2.50 last week until his setback, unfortunately. Cool Command 3.
Can I ask my friend?
Market, new favourite, El Segundo, ahead of Eramine. Racing to Win, we'll see him next week. Lad of the Manor, we'll see him in a couple of weeks' time. Miss Finland, well, what was she running the Cup?
Bruce, you'll get about 3.
A couple of look at, there's the Caulfield Cup. Railings zipping, penalty to be announced tomorrow, $8. Our Smoking Joe still there, 9. Spinafold needs to get in 10. Any comments?
Yeah, by the way, despite that Best Bets logo, you can't get on with me on those prices.
And the Melbourne Cup, well, Johnny Hawke sitting pretty, trying to win his first Melbourne Cup. Railings and Head Turner dominate from Eramine. Pentane ran yesterday in New Zealand. Our Smoking Joe, Torquate's going beautifully. Glistening on a Jeune, Serenade Rose zipping that. There's your Billstud Stakes market, dominated by number 1, Churchill Downs, $2.30, $2.10, $2. There he is. On screen, Churchill Downs. And Shane, you've got a slight concern out to the mile, but 9 to 4.
Yeah, I do have. That's my one.
And let's face it, the top weight Churchill Down, he looked outstanding in the yard. It's just a matter of him putting his act together. He's certainly got the ability.
Get underway, they're racing. And Blue Largo near the inside away well. Escudero ridden for pace. Magic Jet showing speed. Galen's rushing forward in the red and green colours. They were followed by Montaigne. Abdicate just off those. Say a Prayer for Me is very deep out in Deferment's right. 750. Deferment putting the pressure on. Going up to Escudero. Say a Prayer for Me. 3 wide in between runners is Galen. Blue Largo's had a nice run on the fence, but he just needs galloping room as Abdicate comes up 3 wide. Churchill Downs following him through and now comes out 4 deep. In between runners Montaigne, Ankmore, Pork and Magic Jet's travelling well with nowhere to go, but he's sneaking home on the fence. And further back is Tip the Dip, the race right on. Deferment outside of the leader Escudero, who kicks on the corner. Blue Largo needs a run. Coming around them is Abdicate, and Magic Jet's getting the run. Magic Jet's getting right up on the inside, and Churchill Downs to the extreme outsiders, powering home. Abdicate after Magic Jet and Churchill Downs. Churchill Downs going after Magic Jet. Magic Jet in front. Churchill Downs cuts him back. Churchill Downs lunges, misses. Magic Jet veered out, but he still won the Stud Stakes from Churchill Downs. A photo finish for 3rd. Ankmore Porkers come late from Abdicate and Blue Largo. Escudero...
There's a very promising 3-year-old Magic Jet. He just holds off Churchill Downs. He got into a very awkward position for a horse.
Good, strong
riding.
Let's
see where they finish here, because you can see Churchill Downs, Williams with that extravagant left-hander whip. Now, he comes out pretty sharply here. Now, let's see if there's any impediment to him. There is.
Yes.
Now,
that was the part I was worried about. How close to the post was it, though?
Well...
And that you need to aim that up with the side on. Probably have a look, and we won't... No need for us to say any more about it.
It's been upheld. Churchill Downs is the winner of the Billstud Stakes. Controversial decision. Some cheers, some boos here at Moonee Valley. Protest now reads the winner, Churchill Downs over Magic Jet. Magic Jet, Ricky Cartwright being declared the winner, alleging interference and intimidation over the last 100 metres uphill. New dividends, 1 Churchill Downs, 270, 160, 5 Magic Jet, 190. Jet was first over the line, Ricky Cartwright. Churchill Downs was second over the line, Craig Williams. And Ankh-Morpork, don't forget about it, heading towards the Derby. Terrific run, running third. Now, there was no surprise post-race that Craig Williams went straight to the stewards and said, I object. Well, let's first go to the job. In shifting out, Magic Jet, Ricky Cartwright, had come into the whip space used by Craig Williams, and they said this affected, and a bump affected the result of the race. Now, Craig Williams pulled the stick through from the right hand to the left hand, and as we know, he has an extravagant left-handed whip action. Stewards actually have chipped Williams about this whip action. Now, obviously, this whip action is far more space. Now, we'll show the rear.
So, when you define intimidation on the last stride on the post, I probably don't agree with that one. And to cut a long story short, Magic Jet's allowed to shift as long as he likes, due to the fact that he's 2.5 lengths clear of every other runner. The only time he got close to Craig was bang, right there, and that was right on the post.
No, Churchill Downs is forced.
Well, first of all, I think the intimidation is a total lot of baloney, bull dust. Like, he's pulled his whip, C. Williams, he's got the most exaggerated whip action, he's intimidated, abdicating. If he's going to say someone else is intimidating him, he's intimidating other horses. He's using a lot more space than he's entitled to. Abdicating was there before he started to do all this with the whip in his left hand. Now, the big thing that I've noticed, once upon a time, the whole emphasis in protest hearings was, did it make a difference to the result of the race? I think that that's now switched in Melbourne to, did you break the rules? If you did, watch out. I think he was a little bit lucky to get the protest. Very lucky.
Andrew mentioned in the final report of it that intimidation was a factor in their decision. Well, they never give intimidation. They never use that as an excuse, and now they've trotted out for this one.
It's been used.
Breaking. The horse shifts from the inside. Now, irrespective of whether you want to call it intimidation or not, the fact of the matter, when it started to annoy it, it was well before the post.
You know, Alfie, you're not listening to me. That might be right,
yes, I am.
And that might be grounds to make a protest, but they never give them.
And now they do. Time a day,
you know.
Well, they're starting to. They're starting to give them now.
Well, so you're admitting it's inconsistent with what they have been.
You've got to feel sorry for the second.
Okay, well, they're in the yard for the JRA. John Hawkes is on track. What else can happen here?
No, it's a big night, isn't it? And a lot of people sweating on the protest here because they will.
Shortly, there's the take on course. Away from that, you can get $7 about Black Pen.
Yeah, well, Spinney, as we suspected, is totally dominating the betting. And
the JRA Cup, of course, the race last year won by El Segundo before he would go on and take the Underwood Stakes and run in the Caulfield Cup. But nothing.
Run. Derringer moving, racing. Broken a good line, Spinney fast out. Shin's going to send him forward from gate number 2. Showing plenty of speed. Del moving up quickly as Rev him up. Bugatti Royale is third. Spinney fourth. The length Umbula. Lord Erin on the rail. The grey from Victory Sweep just tossing his head about. Lonheed goes up 3 wide from Saturn Spin. 2 to Lonheed 3 wides. Had no luck at the 600. On the rail behind those then came Bugatti Royale. Spinney's about to switch out, being urged forward to make ground as the leader tries to kick for home from Victory Sweep. Travelling into it from Lord Erin Umbula. Pavlova's making ground. Spinney's under a lot of pressure. He's getting mobile now. Homeward bound. Del Vecchio's giving them something to catch. He's 2 lengths in front. Lonheed tries hard. Spinney winding up and Victory Sweep, and Pavlova needs a run. Here comes Spinney going after Del Vecchio. Pavlova's getting through. Spinney hits the lead. Pavlova's flying. Spinney in front. Pavlova gets to second. Spinney in front, and Spinney fell over the line to beat Pavlova. Del Vecchio in a photo for third with Victory Sweep. Lonheed a good run after being...
But he's just lasted. Del Vecchio pulled the pressure on coming up the hill into the corner, which just got him off.
It's been pretty solid.
That's for sure. Now, we'll wait for Des Gleeson to come down here, but Pavlova got through on the inside. There's a mare on track for a nice race somewhere in the spring, Shane. She's going well, and Victory Sweep, I think...
well, just having a look at those couple of bumps in the last 20 or 30 metres here, don't be surprised if we've got a repeat of the previous race.
All right, well, so it gets pretty tight, and again has to take hold and drive through.
Yeah, but Spinney got in on her there, got very tight on her.
Okay.
I've got a feeling.
Right, Shane, please.
This will tell the tale after they straighten up. There's your interim dividends.
Okay, Spinny at this stage, you're across the line here, 160
for sure.
Racing's back anyway.
Oh, is it ever?
Uphill. No surprise after the previous result?
Well, it was a Monty. I mean, it was a much clearer cut decision for mine than the previous one, which I still think...
The awarded winner, 14 Pavlova, 22.20 and $4, taking it from 2 Spinny, 120 on protest, 1 Del Vecchio, 3.
Sweep. Lonheat, a good run after being wide.
Well, $1.85 favourite was first over the line, but Stewards gave it to the 16-to-1 chance Pavlova. Hence, one punter at Moonee Valley picked up a rubbish bin in the octagonal lounge and threw it through the window. Good to see a bit of action back in play.
Exactly.
But I think Simon, once the
Spinny jockey's riding tight, taking half runs, getting through, and Blake Shin on the outside in the cerise colours, using the whip with the right hand, and crowds the horse. And Pavlova was obviously hitting the line better than Spinny, but it was tight riding. This happens in races, and
he shifted in
that, Richard. Well, I actually can agree with giving this one, because consistently with what they do, that horse Spinny took Pavlova's running 2 or 3 times, and the touch wasn't the issue there. It actually took its running, which is against the rules of racing. So I can actually go along with that one. That one was okay for me. But the other horse...
And Richard, did I see you diving in to take that $1.24?
I said I'll bet $1.30, and I think you'll find a few people get in there, but there's still 6 cents. Imagine you...
Stakes. Only a field of 6, so the club must be disappointed with the... And they're often racing, and Classy Lioness may have missed it a neck or so. The favourite Court Command landed in front. He's shading Rubric in the first 200 metres and then has gone back to a clear last. But this long odds-on favourite Court Command comes for home, striding well clear by 2 on Rubric, who's flat. Antidotes is going up on the inside from Chinkway. Barrate comes to the outside, 5 lengths off the lead, but topping the rise, and Court Command shaken up now by Darryl McClellan. Antidotes going up on the rail. Rubric was next, and Barrate coming down the outside, but inside the 200, and Court Commander's going great guns. Well clear from Antidotes, and further back behind them Chinkway and Barrate, and he's shaken up late Court Command. Now he sits up and he takes out the Stand Fox from Antidotes. Chinkway third, and then came Barrate, followed by Rubric, and last in was Classy Lioness.
He did all he had to do. Sydney's best colt, Court Commander, I should say, was neat when you're picking up $130,000. $1.20 and $1.10 the winner.
There, well, if you're happy with an easy pick up there. If you want to be totally negative, Kenny, and raise that what did you beat scenario again, Antidotes had run 10th, 11th and 9th this preparation, but I think again forget about that. That's a nice blowout, even money favourite for the Caulfield Guineas now, and bring him down.
Won by 2 1/4 lengths. First run for 4 weeks. Wasn't knocked about. He'll be screwed down for the Caulfield Guineas in a fortnight. What more could he do? What's going to beat him in the Caulfield Guineas?
Well, you know, Miss Finland won't be there. Churchill...
It was racing a bit in favour of leaders early, because there was a huge tailwind following him down the straight, so that was always going to favour leaders. But he was too classy for them, and Ronnie, there was a bit of a negative about him before the race.
Yeah, look, not a negative. He was $1.20, and he
was... Yeah, but there was a little bit of talk
a little bit of a negative. But look, he got the job done. Whether he should be a 6-4 chance to win the Guineas, I don't know. He's yet to be proven to be a strong miler. We know he's brilliant.
Now he's taped very heavily in front there.
Owned him, Grand Army. He's a champ. I know he lowered the colours of Lonhro. He was the winner of the George Main a few years ago.
Yeah, won it in 2004, and who'll ever forget his win over Lonhro in that Queen Elizabeth Stakes. And he won a McKinnon Stakes, he won a Doncaster. What a horse he was. All right, Rich, we've got a very good horse in it this year, racing to win.
Number 1, Courts in Session, $6.40 is spot on. Desert War, $7.30, a point longer. $1.60 is Skinny, racing to win. About 15 or 20 cents longer on $27, better with the bookies. Primus, $8.10, spot on. Reds Daz, longer with the bookies. Racing to win, $1.70, spot on. De Beers.
They're off in the George Main, and they broke very quickly. Courts in Session and Red Dazzler jumped out well. Desert War and Primus on the outside. Racing to Win going back on the inside, and a couple of lengths behind them next. He puts the brakes on now. Courts in Session coming back to the field slightly. 3/4 on Desert War. Red Dazzler still right on their back, and Primus has crept up a little bit. He's running 4th, 2 lengths to Racing to Win. He's come away from the inside, and then came De Beers, and Nemesis, the mare, is back last of all. 7 lengths covering the field in the George Main, coming to the 600. It's Courts Court's in session by 3/4. He starts to niggle at Desert War now, and then Red Dazzler and Primus, followed by Racing to Win. He spots the leaders about 4 lengths. Court's in session has broken down. He's dropped right out of it. Court's in session, a sensation in the George Main, and Desert War was left in front from Red Dazzler. Primus is next. Racing to Win is starting to wind up down the outside. Coming to the 200, Desert War is being challenged by Red Dazzler. Now buses are starting to call on. Racing to Win down the centre of the track, and he exploded to the lead now, 150 to go. He put pay to them in 2 hops, and Racing to Win, he is a star. He goes down to score. Red Dazzler second, Desert War third, and then Nemesis followed by Primus De Beers. And unfortunately, Court's in session has broken down, coming to the home turn, and appears to have sustained an injury to one of his forelegs.
That's a tragedy from a very, very brave horse. A tragedy for Court's in session. Good luck to the champ, Racing to Win. There he is on screen. He was too good going past Red Dazzler.
He's racing well, and he's got some improvement in him. It was nice to get a win up again today. Look, to be honest, I'm a bit concerned for Guy and their team with Court's in session. My heart and feeling goes out to them because I've had that happen to me and there's nothing worse. So let's hope that everything's all right there.
Yeah, you never like to see Primus. You were saying you're a bit disappointed in Primus today.
Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed in him. You know, I would like to see him probably, if he was to get beat under 2 lengths. I haven't spoken to Hugh yet, but on face value, looks a bit disappointing. And
as far as Racing to Win the Epsom next week is the target now?
I think he'll be compelled to run on the Epsom now. He'd get too much weight in Turak.
Yeah, thank you, Caroline. Well, Racing to Win makes it 8 wins from 12 starts, close to $2.25 million in prize money with today's $260,000, and he's paid $1.70 and $1.04.
Thrill this horse, you know, you're not tracking no hopers here, and he just gives you so much confidence when you're behind him. You just think, well, you've got the whole race in your control, because it's much the same as what he did last week or fortnight ago. What he does between the 400 and the 200 just gets you out of any trouble or any concern that you might have, and then he gets the front and just switches off.
And Desert War brave again, also backing up next week. Racing to Win, Kenny. Look, we'll touch on the situation with Court's in session, but as we'll go to Glenn Boss and also John O'Shea. But what you like about that performance there is that acceleration which only the good horses have.
Yep, a tradesman-like performance, probably equally as impressive as Grand Army was winning the race 2 years ago. He then went to Melbourne to run a great race in the Cox Plate and win the McKinnon. This horse is the real deal. You can expect too much of horses. People say, oh, Red Dazzler on second. I think Red Dazzler went great. Congratulations to Mick Price. He said, if I go up there and even if I get beaten by the winner, I'm getting 80 grand, which he won. You know, it's for a horse that might be just, David Hayes called him 5th banana in Melbourne, but I just say second-tier horse, a good horse. And he was just, I thought he ran a great race.
He did. Red Dazzler had run 4th to Ladder the Manor. Spinny had run 3rd in that same race. But forget about all those equations. What you see there is what you get.
Exactly.
He is a star. Simon?
Yeah, look, Glenn Boss obviously amazed again with the horses turn a foot from the 400 to the 200. And
the race, Kenny, was certainly the injury that has ended the career of this very brave racehorse in Court's in session. He won 14 races, $1.4 million, came from a very minor start in the racing life to the top level.
Yeah. Horse, but his record's starting to say that he's quite a good horse.
Quite a good horse? I think he's an outstanding horse. Does he always race with his head tilted to the side like that? He just had it tilted outwards in the straight. Is that a normal trait with him?
No, it isn't. And to be honest, Richard, I was a little bit concerned with as to why he did that yesterday. He's never done that before, but look, he's trotted up good there today. You know, Glenn might have been preempting Glenn standing in the saddle, saluting the crowd. I don't know, but
so he's smart. He was waiting for that relaxed nature. That's a bit of a trait within Costa de Lagos, isn't it? They're all a bit relaxed on the track. They're never.
This is the Group 3 Bill Ritchie handicap, and a few people here, Clark, are still shaking their heads at Racing to Win. Devastating performance, who was sensational. 60, about 3 points shorter on track.
Backs coming up. New Edge at 2:30. They stand well and they're away. Diamond Sun missed it slightly. Flaming and Ashgabar jumped out quite quickly out wide. They're showing some speed. Captain Dash and New Edge is going forward today. He's up in the first couple, followed by Mr. Ubiquitous and Gorgonitis driving through as well. Ashgabar out wide. He's trying to make a beeline over onto the rail and he finds it now. He leads by 2 on New Edges, 1 off the fence. Flaming's posted 3 wide. Then came Mr. Ubiquitous, Gorgonite and Captain Backs from Diamond Sun. He's midfield on the fence, followed by Tall Timbers and China Jade. Commanding Victory was next from Coalesce. Less and But I'm Serious last of all. Ashkabar in front of this heavily backed favourite New Edge, who's running second around the turn. Flaming is third, 3 deep from Mr. Ubiquitous, Captain Bax and Gorgonite, and Diamond Sun is getting a Dream Rails run. New Edge moved up to Ashkabar. Flaming comes up on the outside to almost make a line of 3. Diamond Sun ran into trouble and Captain Bax. Boss sits down to ride New Edge out. Flaming is a big danger on the outside, and But I'm Serious storming home late. New Edge and Flaming, and coming right along the fences, Coalesce. Coalesce from nowhere's got up. Coalesce beat New Edge and Flaming. That came from nowhere. But I'm Serious fourth, and then Diamond Sun, Mr. Ubiquitous.
Well, it's not off in your back, Darren Beedman, and he's going to pay $28.80, which is, I think you'll find, what he's going to pay here, $21.63, home in $35.44. $28.80, as I told you, is final. 6.30.
5 to 2. Malcolm and Primus at $6, $7. Desert War $10. This is Colin Tidy's Market from Bet Choice. Johann's Toy 13. Newton's. Ken, look, racing to win at that quote, you would think that's a decent price.
Yeah, I think Cole will get swamped. I think people will be keen to take the $3.50 racing to win.
Metropolitan also one of the 4 Group 1s next week. Very open market here. Forum, Magic Instinct, Railings. Well, he's in Melbourne already. He won't be there. Torquay runs in Melbourne also, as I understand it. Molotov, Ring of Fire. Well, you can see their head turner's already in Melbourne. But of course, it did change yesterday. El Segundo $3 and runs in the Underwood. Racing to win into $4.50. Aeromine $6. Starts to ease. Lad of the Manor, D. Oliver to ride now next week in the Turnbull into the Cox Plate at $6. Misfit to ride a Lad of the Manor. Okay, let's have a look at the market for the Caulfield Cup. And zipping Titans in again, $5.50 with Michael Iskander. Railings and Spencer Fighter, well down the order of entry. Spencer Fighter, be wary there, $8. Head turner Serenade Rose, perhaps last chance in the Turnbull at $10. Smoking Joe, D. and we've got Jay Cassidy riding, of course, at $13. Spinny after not much easier than the Melbourne Cup, but Johnny Hawk still hasn't won one, but he's got 2 great chances ticking over beautifully for this year's Melbourne Cup, and there they are, top of the markets. Head turner and Railings, $8 and $9. Now Yates, virtually 99%, well, confirmed to come. The next question will be, will Kieran Fallon have the ride? There's the coming impact up this afternoon, 4:40. Takeover target, Jay Ford will be crowned the global sprint champion, win, lose or draw, but he takes on Schiillaci Tosho, Les Arcs and Ben Bound from the UK.
What time's on
That's today. OK, let's get over to the big one in Japan, the Sprinter Stakes. Won last year, of course, by Silent Witness, who's trying to win it again this time around. Having a look down the first betting page, 3 Les Arcs, the British horse, his 5 remarkable career he's had. He actually had a run at Cartmel in Northern England over hurdles earlier on in his career and was primarily an all-weather horse over further. But there he is, takeover target, $2.80 to try and go after this 1.3 million bonus. If he can take out the Sprinter Stakes, it really would be just yet another.
Racing in a fairly even dispatch. Shan Silent Witness began beautifully out wide. Quickly bursting up on the inside is Meisho Bowler, the one that gave us trouble early. Sticky Shinsuke finishes out the wide with takeover target moving forward in the top 4. Then a gap further back to Schiillaci Tosho on the inside. Les Arcs, Buckano Bastille, one of the last, one obscured there at the moment in the tail of the field. Can't pick that up momentarily, but it's takeover target leading as they get to the top of the turn. Takeover target narrowly. Right, Silent Witness. Silent Witness just on his action.
And on 3-4.
Forward now is Meisho Bowler back on the fence. Takeover target up to 350. Takes the lead from Silent Witness. Takeover target goes for it. Meisho Bowler along the fence running on down. Here's Auto on Naturalism and Schiillaci Tosho outright. It's still takeover target with a controlling lead. 8 by 2. Takeover target and Silent Witness running for second. Bursting through the middle late. The Sydney escape Tuggano Bastille, but takeover target gets it. Meisho Bowler and Tuggano Bastille at any old price. 120 to 1 gets up the run third. Flying on its run there was Silent Witness, and Les Arcs was not far away with Ben Bone, Order of Mataruze, Schiillaci Tosho, Golden Cast out wide with Talmo Hot Play, Cheerful Smile running on late. Golden Cast were there, Shinsuke, Sticky Shinsuke Kun was there as well with Simply Escape and Keenland Swan, but the Aussie has done it. Takeover target maintains his control of the Global Sprint Challenge and keeps that $1 million bonus hope well and truly alive as they head to Hong Kong. He goes on and scores by 2.5. Meisho Bowler along the fence, perhaps got second.
just in front of...
Big race on his travels overseas. It's just a story that just keeps on rumbling on. Absolutely remarkable stuff. But this was a fantastic effort today against a quality field, and he has absolutely destroyed them. 2.5 lengths as we pick up the replay. 2.5 lengths. But he's got a quality field in behind. We're still waiting for details of the third to come through. As you can see, takeover target.
Sydney champion Eremine has been all but ruled out of the remainder of the Spring Carnival. The one-time Cox Plate favourite underwent further veterinary tests in Sydney this afternoon after injuring his back in track work. But with the results inconclusive, further blood tests will be required next Monday. Owner Jeff White concedes the multiple Group 1 winner has missed too much work and is now likely to be spelled.
On the tote, Rich, but odds on in the ring.
Yeah, she certainly is. Number 1, reigning to win, not racing, reigning to win. The Group 1 winner of the Brisbane Carnival, the TJ Smith, $4.10. Oh, about a half point shorter on track. 50 points longer in the bookmaker's ring. The favourite, $2. Not there. Never got near there. It's still well into the red. That $1.80 reigning to win. $3.80, a little bit shorter on track now. The flux in the bookies. Gold Edition's rock solid, the favourite. $1.80, marginally shorter on track.
Ready to go now. And they're off and racing. Mute from the inside stall hesitated slightly, and My Mitty was outpaced, going well back, and Kelly from the inside has gone through to hit the lead. It's just in front here of Gold Edition and Pure Energy, and the pace is very slow in the first 200 metres. They pair off as they come around the bend now, and Gold Edition going up to Kelly. Kelly with the inside running is just in front of Gold Edition. Lynch has got a good hold of the filly as they top the rise, and he had a look behind. Now he lets her go. Then came Mute, and Reigning to Win is starting to launch his claim right down the outside. Gold Edition in front, but Reigning to Win is coming after it. He gets within a length with 150 to go. Reigning to Win goes up to Gold Edition. Gold Edition is fighting, but Reigning to Win levels up. They're stride for stride down to the line, and Reigning to Win got up. He got up in the last bound, Reigning to Win, to tip out the favourite Gold Edition. Mute, I'd say, got third just in front of My Mitty, and then came Kelly, and last in was Pure Energy.
That might be a very, very good horse. The way they crawled in front, Gold Edition and...
He had to sort of get on his bike a bit. It was a very, very good effort because I got an enormous respect for the second horse.
And where to now for Reigning to Win?
Look, I'll probably run him here in a fortnight in the Brian Crowley, and then, you know, his main target has always been the Ascot Vale, so I'd like to probably go into that third up, but we'll see how...
On Derby Day, for home in 34.53. The interim dividends, $3.80 and $1.80 the winner, $1.20.
5 starts now for 4 wins. He'll be coming to Melbourne with the O'Shea Boss team and heading towards the Ascot Vale Stakes. The old theme, Kenny, just winners keep winning, aren't they?
Look, it's easy to say Mute ran third and it's just out of maiden company at the Provincials, but this horse, the way they walk, we know what Gold Edition can do. Now, even if she was just below her best, for this horse to give her a 2.5 length start in a slowly run race, and Blauser, it was a fabulous performance. He's only raced he's won his last 4, so he's raced 5 times. He's already won a Group 1, albeit not the strongest Group 1, the TJ Smith this year. But look, he's going somewhere. He's a racehorse, and you said it, Bruce. He's a winner.
And Gold Edition's no.
An outstanding talent, I think. I thought he looked above himself yesterday, and he did the impossible.
Well, there he is, back second last. This
racehorse first up yesterday. He had a really good filly to chase there, running off slick sectionals. They cleared out from the third horse. This horse has already won a mile Group 1 as a 2-year-old. I hear John O'Shea saying he's going to give him one more run and then into the Ascot Vale. At 1,200 metres, well, why not the Carbine Club or something like that?
I was surprised at that too, and I said that yesterday. I said I think the probable course forward for him would be the Carbine Club and then into perhaps the Sandown Guineas and then put him away for autumn. But John O'Shea said the Ascot Vale, which is 1,200 metres on Derby Day, is his main target. And I think John, after having had a setback with the horse after Brisbane, maybe thinking, I don't want to put too much pressure on this horse this spring. I'll just let him have a few kills and then put him away for autumn, and maybe he's his Doncaster horse for next year.
I think you're right.
I reckon you've spoken to
Craven Plate.
Yeah, thank you very much, Steve. Martini, $12.30, 7 points longer. Martoom, $14.60, you can add 4 points. Cataclysm is your second favourite, $4.90 the tote, that's spot on the mark. Ice Chariot's your favourite, $3.80 the tote, about 80 cents longer on track.
Racing in the Craven Plate. And Testifiable from the inside stall hopped out nicely. So tooted Cataclysm and Above Deck, and Evasion going forward from an inside draw. Gone is going to race a little bit closer, going up on the outside from Mr. Martini and Martoom. Back in behind those horses next is Ice Chariot, followed by Swanfield, one off the rail, and then came in behind them next Mr. Martini. Ice Chariot starting to edge up around the outside from Toulouse-Lautrec, and Swansea last of all. They start to quicken up front now, and Cataclysm is the leader by over a length on Gone. Testifiable locked away at the moment. Above Deck starting to peel out 3 wide from Martoom inside it, and then Evasion and Ice Chariot just had to check off heels, but the leader is Cataclysm topping the rise, still over a length in front of Gone. Testifiable sweating on that inside run, he's trying to force out, and then came Above Deck. The run's there for Testifiable. Cataclysm a length and a half in front. Testifiable gets the gap now, followed by Gone, but it's Cataclysm hanging on to the lead, and he's going to lead all the way in the Craven Plate. Cataclysm held on to score from Testifiable. Gone was third from Ice Chariot and Above Deck, and then Martoom and Evasion followed by Mr. Martini. Well back was Swansea, and finishing with it was Toulouse-Lautrec.
Gay Waterhouse, you heard it before the race. Danny Beasley rides Cataclysm to win the Craven Plate Group 3 at Weight for Age. He won here last $5.50 for third, the Exacta $32, the Quinella $15.90 and $454.
Right for
last week, people were saying, well, can he run a mile? He's never run it. He ran a mile last week, and he ran a mile and a quarter or 2,000 metres yesterday. He's the favourite of everyone in the stable, I understand. They all like him. He's got a lovely temperament. And Testifiable, a good run. Not a great run. He got out here, he got inside of Gone, and I thought at this stage, well, he's just about entitled to run Cataclysm down, and he probably only pulled a neck off it over the last 200 metres. So just to run Testifiable. Ice Chariot whacked away out deep for fourth, and Gone should win a fillies and mares.
Ice Chariot actually get
Sydney Randwick coming up, the Spring Champion Stakes for the 3-year-olds.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Group 1 racing, it's racing at its best, and here it comes.
Number 1 Empire's Choice, 15.50, spot on, all black gold. 6.50, a point longer. Plenty of money already for the favourite Miras. 2.70, 10 cents longer on track. Turenenbar, it's firm 20 points. It's $102, it's half that on track. Get Squares Day Joy, 4.80, fractionally shorter on track. It's been well back.
Old winner of the Gloaming Stakes. Come up with Good Alley in gate number 5. Thesio about to move in. Getting some assistance, racing in the Champion Stakes. And Macau Causeway jumped out quickly, and so too did Tiranabar. All black gold's up there with He's No Pider, and so too was Thesio. Viewed as back on the inside, settling in a forward spot today from Magic Jet and Bomber Command. He's over racing early, trying to ease back. And then Sermon going past him from Volta Bolta. Empire's Choice was well back from Tuesday Joy. Tuesday Joy was next. Miraz is second last on his inside. And last of all is Get Square. Well, the leaders put the brakes on now as they work to that next corner, slowing them right down. A few of the back markers got onto heels, and the leader is Tiranabar by 3/4 on all black gold. Macau Causeway's come away from the inside. He's on the outside of He's No Pider, who's slipped up on his inside now. Then came Thesio, followed by Viewed. Further back was Sermon and Fianchetto. Bomber Commands off the track, and then Magic Jet followed in behind them by Tuesday Joy. She's starting to edge up 3 wide, followed by Empire's Choice, and further back was Get Square. Just Mambo, Volta Bolta, and the favourite Miraz is still last, and he's about 15 lengths off the lead. Into the straight here in the Spring Champion Stakes, it's Tiranabar in front. He's No Pider comes off its back to go to second from Macau Causeway. All black gold is there as well, followed by Viewed. Thesio and Tuesday Joy starting to wind up, but she got a check, and so did Miraz. It's Tiranabar in front of He's No Pider. All black gold, Tuesday Joy and Miraz are coming late on the outside. Tiranabar's running off the track, but he's in front, and Tiranabar a boil over, wins it from All Black Gold. A photo for third. He's No Pider and Tuesday Joy from Fianchetto and Viewed, and then came Miraz and Get Square, followed in behind them by Empire's Choice and Sermon. Then came Thesio, Macau Causeway, Magic Jet from Just Mambo, Volta Bolta, and last in was Bomber Command.
Well, they were striking all sorts of trouble back in the field coming down the outside, and Tiranabar, Larry Cassidy. Tomorrow, he's off to Macau for a riding contract. Larry Cassidy to pay $118. And look at All Black Gold, what a performance hit. And then Tuesday Joy flashing home with Miras out wide. Was there some good runs there?
But the way the race was...
Presented at the races, he actually got here and he relaxed, went around and he used his energy obviously in a very positive way. He's a colt, he's been full of himself. We've done a few different things in training, trying to just get him to focus, and yeah, it's come together with a great result.
$118.40 for the winner, wow. $19.30 the place, $2.20 for second, $5.10 for third. The Quinella, $568, the exacta $660.
It certainly wasn't 100 to 1 chance on its form. Tranquil started 50s, beat All Black Gold. He's no pie to Tuesday. Joy, no luck, protested fourth. The second, related to interference, but stewards didn't uphold that objection. And Kenny Miras out the back got into trouble, needed a lot of luck from there and didn't get it.
Miras toyed with Tranquil at Newcastle. They ran 4 seconds. I repeat that, 4 seconds outside of Dignity Dance's race record. They crawled up in front and Miras was 15 to 20 lengths behind them. I don't know what Darren was going to do, but what he did wasn't right. The horse had absolutely no hope to come from where he was. Now, Tuesday Joy wasn't that far ahead of him and she ran a sensational race. I don't know what's going to beat her in the Wakeful Stakes in the Oaks when she gets to Melbourne. Having said that, good on Anthony Cummings and Larry Cassidy. Tranquil, Anthony runs them in the Group 1 races. The breaks went his way yesterday in a jog trot up near the lead, and the horses near the rear, well, they may as well have been at home in their box.
There's that.
Very, very well. Hopefully you'll see him in the autumn.
He raced a little bit closer than he did last start with Hugh Bowman, and still quite dour in his action, but he's now going out for a spell, I've been told, so it'll do him the world of good. But he's a very nice horse, and next time in he'll definitely win races.
Day riding and gets a Group 1 result at any old price here, but this wasn't a contest. This wasn't a contest. First, second and third were in the first 3 all the way, and they're bolters. Well, All Black Gold wasn't, and he wandered a little bit in the straight. All Black Gold may have cost him victory, but the favourite should have run 1-2 here. Tuesday Joy, desperately unlucky. Will she ever win a race? Maybe.
Well, she'll win one.
We might have to wait till Oaks Day. And,
she'll win one.
Miras. Yeah, the tempo just...
well, Darren missed the boat too. I mean, really and truly, the only 2 horses in this race
No.
that I rate...
Play this again.
The only 2 horses in this race that I rate any good, right, is Miras and Tuesday Joy. The rest you can raffle them, including the winner. And I don't mean any disrespect. Good luck to them. They've won a Group 1 with that horse. But I've raffled that race. There's not a Group 1.
There was a horse in that race called Get Square.
Oh, finished well back in the ruck. Finished 9th.
I'll tell you what.
You didn't see it running on?
Okay, thank you, Steve. We'll try and get through the runners in the shorts too. Top race, Group 3, 1,100 metres. Spark of Life at $6.30. A little bit longer in the ring. 15 down to $3.70. Bentley Biscuit. He's a point longer in the ring. $25. He's triple figures on course. Hourly Am, point shorter than that. $31.50. Land Winner's about right. And $8.30. Magnus, who's a lot shorter on course and a clear-cut favourite at less than each way odds. Here on track, number 1 Spark of Life is $6.60 the tote, a point longer on track. Mustard's $5.60, a point longer. A few roughies. Number 8 Bentley Biscuit, $3.90, a point longer on track. And the other one's right down the bottom. Number 14 Magnus. They've come for Magnus in a big way. $6.40 the tote, over 2 points shorter on track.
And they're off and racing, and Resistor jumped out quickly. Fox Lake wasn't all that well away. Black Ink is going well back with Mustard and Spirit of Tara shortly after the jump, and the top weight Spark of Life has got his head in front. Magnus going up to racing for the lead early, and Our Liam's on the outside without cover. Magically right on the back of the Speed Resistor, 5th the rail, and then came Bentley Biscuit, Written Tycoon going up, but he's right off the track. He's 4 wide. Fox Lake the centre, followed by Black Ink and Fillets and Lantwin, Spirit of Tara, Mustard, and Max Tune whips them in. Spark of Life a length clear on Magnus as they come up towards the home turn. They lead from Our Liam out 3 wide. Resistors back on the rail from Magically. And then came Written Tycoon, Bentley Biscuit pushing out into the clear. And then came Black Ink, and further back was Fox Lake. Spark of Life's in front, leads by a half a length. Our Liam and Magnus are looming up to challenge. And then Written Tycoon and Bentley Biscuit starting to wind up right down the outside. Magnus got up to Spark of Life. Bentley Biscuit is descending on the outside. Bentley Biscuit went up and poked the bib in front, and Bentley Biscuit will win first up. Beat Magnus and Spark of Life, and Black Ink got 4th right on the outside. Then Written Tycoon, Fox Lake and Magically, followed by Mustard and Our Liam, Spirit of Tara and Fillets, and then Resistor, followed by Max Chist of all.
Some horses are winners, and this bloke's just one of them. He's had 12 starts and he's won 9 times. It's hard to knock him. 7 to make up so much ground.
Yeah, look, you know, Glenn Boss came around and put me in a pocket, and I had no option but to be patient and just come back and get across his heels. It was an exceptional effort, and, you know, he's going to get better as he gets over a bit further.
He's just one of those interim dividends. $70 for second, $3 for third. The Quinella, $9.50. The
Beaten first up, Bentley Biscuit, and he's won 9 of 12. I love those horses. Magnus was good on pace for Nolan and Moody. Spark of Life showed a spark of life yesterday. Kenny, gee, you've got to admire this horse. He's
ran
another
a
winner.
terrific race, Spark of Life. I thought he nearly had them beaten at the furlong, but Bruce, another winner. Bentley Biscuit keeps on winning, and from his first up run he improves, and Gay's taking him straight to Melbourne, and I can assure you he's a better horse at 1400 or a mile than he is at 1100. So I think the eventual aim is the mile race, as it's still called the Emirates, on the last day of the carnival.
Well, he's a winner, the horse. He's got a sense of timing about him, this preparation, along with a few Waterhouse horses. They're not burnt out at the Sydney Carnival. This horse is only first up. He'll go to Melbourne on a high, with improvements still up the sleeve. He knows how to win. He's a lovely animal.
Well, he also won his first 8. Yeah. It's pretty special.
He's been very well placed,
and
though.
He's virtually won every time first up.
Yeah.
And he's from a campaign, and he's first up again. So I think he's well placed there. Can he beat your other favourite horse in Melbourne up the straight if he runs in the same race, Fast and Famous?
Fast and Famous would have won that shorts by 3 lengths.
There you are.
Really? It was just a bunch.
Yeah, thank you very much, Steve. An absolute top field in the Group 1 Metropolitan Handicap, 2,400 metres. I'd say a much better field than last year when Rowlings, who won the race, went on to win the Caulfield Cup. All right, Richard, the prices. Number 1, County Tyrone, $13.50, 8 points longer on track. Activation, being well backed, $9.60. It's a point short on track. Short Pause, $55, about comparable. Torquete, $16.90, is spot on. Bicky Tin Blue backed already. It's a clear favourite. $8.20, 2 points shorter on track. North of Havana, it was big odds, 10. 2 points shorter with the bookies. No one, geez, I think that's big odds. Activation, $8.90, a point and a half short, has been well supported. $53 Short Pause. It's 12 points shorter on track. It hasn't budged. Torquete, $17.20 is spot on. Bicky Tin Blues, $21.60. It's 4 points shorter. $7 Molotov. That's the best of the bookies bet. Not there anymore. About 2 points shorter and a dominant favourite. Northwood.
Racing in the Metrop. And Forum jumped awkwardly, lost a length and a half at the start. Torquete was very sluggish out of the gates, and he goes back as well. And it's Replicator on the outside, and North of Havana taking the lead early on. They go to the judge in front of Bicky Tin Blues and Short Pause. Also up there is Scattergun, followed by Exonite over on the inside from Vanquished, and further back was County Tyrone. The top weight's 3 wide out of the straight. Back on the inside is Forum from Men at Work. Then came Activation, Magic Instinct and Dazelle and Toff. And then came Torquete. Further back in the field was Forum racing there with Men at Work. And then came in behind them Magic Instinct, followed by Dazelle and Ring of Fire. And Activation's in front of about 3 or 4 runners as they work up towards the 650, and the leader is North of Havana. Starting to come back to them now. Replicator's the first to go out after him. And then came County Tyrone, followed by Short Pause and Bicky Tin Blues. Vanquish is taking off around the outside from Exonite. Scattergun starting a run, and Molotov's midfield from Activation and Forum, and Dazelle still a fair way back as they enter the straight. Ring of Fire's doing nothing. It's North of Havana being taken on by Replicator, and Replicator went to the lead. Torquete's out after him quickly. Vanquished is coming down the outside, and so too is Molotov, but it's Torquete taking over inside the 200 metres. Torquete's the leader. Activation right down the outside, but Torquete is going great guns with 100 metres to go, and it's another one for David Hayes, and Torquete wins it from Activation. Back in third spot was Vanquished, followed by Dazelle, and then came Molotov and Replicator and Men at Work and Forum. Further back in behind those horses, next we had Magic Instinct. Short Pause.
The bookies in Melbourne have got their pencils out already. They're shortening his price for the Melbourne Cup. Torquete, trained by David Hayes, he's by King Mambo. The imported horse, he'll stay all day. I reckon they're shortening him up already before he hit the line.
Obviously, if you want him to be a Cups horse, he really had to win today, and he did it very well.
Yeah, he stepped up, and great ride by Dwayne. He weaved through the field and popped him out just at the right time. And I was holding my breath a bit the last 100 metres because he's only on his 4th run. but that'll top him off beautifully for the Caulfield Cup. It was a good lead-up race.
He reminds me a lot of Jean, obviously another Melbourne Cup winner from Lindsay Park.
Yes, same ownership, very similar markings, and probably just as difficult to train too.
Does he have the same sort of ability?
He doesn't begin very well from the boxes, but I just had a beautiful run and he just relaxed nicely and powered to the line.
He looks like a horse at a real 70 and $5.20 the winner, $2.90 for second, $4.60 for third. $88.30 the Quinella, $152.60 the exact.
Going great guns in Melbourne. He had form around zipping from the Naturalism Stakes. That form stacks up in Sydney, winning a Group 1 Metropolitan. Activation was good again. The best ride, best run in the race got the prize.
Yeah, a couple of things grabbed me. Firstly, the ride of Dwayne Dunn was sensational. Watch it again, you won't see a better ride in a big race. He got the horse travelling, which you've got to do in a staying race, get it to relax. He was travelling better than those around him. He came off the rail on the turn and got a run between horses without losing any momentum whatsoever, and was in front in 130 metres. There he is going to the lead now. Having said that, the horse impresses me greatly because he's got that little bit better every run. Oh, yeah. And the fact that he does relax, Melbourne Cup, here I come. The second horse, a super run Activation, but I think he's right at his peak now. I think he's fired his bullets and we've still got the big Melbourne Cups to come. Whereas the other horse, I think he's still on the up, the winner. I thought Dazelle turned in a good run, was a long way back and come right to the outside.
Okay, well, the winner was very good. He did have the perfect run and clearly the best run of the race, but I think he's probably the one also with the greatest scope for improvement. I guess those running on out wide, Activation, Dazelle, Molotov, possibly forgivable. Magic Instinct and Forum found some trouble on the home turn. So of the beaten horses, I think it's inconclusive, but I'm happy to stay with the winner.
He drops to 52.5, and he will get a penalty. Greg Carpenter to bet. Richard and Torquay.
Yeah, look, he potted it one day. Said it's.
I did not pot it.
Oh.
I did not pot it, you little rat. I said that there was... It hadn't done as much as you thought it had, and I thought it needed to do something to, you know, get people's attention in the Cups, and it's done it yesterday.
Yeah, look...
Stop reinventing history.
I still think he's yet to peak, the horse. He was given a beautiful ride by Dwayne Dunn. He's got more scope. Whether he should be Melbourne Cup favourite is up in the air to me, but look, he's heading in the right direction. He'll go back to Melbourne now and obviously on the Melbourne Cup.
He ran third in a St Ledger in the UK, and that's over 2,800 metres, so there's every chance, you know, the 3,200 will not worry him. And it was a good, strong effort. It was a lovely ride.
Couldn't win a Caulfield Cup, though, could he?
Yeah, I reckon he could. Why not?
Well, he's going to get a penalty, boy. He's going to get a penalty. At the moment, he's got 52.5. I reckon he'll get a kilo tomorrow.
Yeah, and one thing he'll want to do, he'll want to step out of the gates a little more brilliantly if he wants to get into a respectable posse in a Caulfield Cup. But what about Activation? How unlucky is it?
Yeah, he charged home. He's really going well, Activation, and he's had a few hard runs now, though. Where does he go with him now?
Yeah, no, he's coming straight to the Caulfield Cup. He's got 53 kilos. Might be a jockey change here. We had...
Here's Desert War, the great war horse. $8.70 on the tote. About a point longer with bookies. Look, he's longer with bookies. Look, he's won the last two Epsoms, and I thought his third in the George Main the other day to Racing to Win was a pretty good run. He only got beat a length. He'll be hard to beat.
Well, the favourite, Kenny, $1.70 a tote. That's what they bet. You wouldn't believe it. The punters have stepped in. They've taken the $1.70. He's short an hour on track. Glenn Boss for Johnny O'Shea. We saw him here last Saturday in the George Main. And as Glenn Boss keeps telling us, what he runs from the 400 to the 200 is just scary, and he picks them up, then he just coasts to the line. The small field of 10 suits this bloke because he's won 8 from 12. He's the one they've all got to beat.
Yeah, the shortest priced Epsom favourite in memory, certainly since the Second World War. There's number 3, Malcolm. I think he's got a great hope of upsetting the apple cart of the favourite. Look, you go back to the Don.
Now, Woodson's the first one to move in. Regal Cheer about to come forward. And Regal Cheer and Binding both missed it slightly. Regal Cheer's on the improve, and Desert War jumped out quickly. Flaming's going forward as well, Racing to Win, and Polar Bear and Utzon are handy on the inside. As they sort themselves out, and Desert War's got his head in front, leads by a half a length. Flaming going up on the outside to second, and Polar Bear has worked into the box seat. Racing to Win, the favourite, fourth, one off the rail on the outside of Utzon, 2 lengths to Regal Cheer. And then came Malcolm, followed by Johann's Toy, Nemesis, and whipping them in as Binding. Last of all behind them is Binding. So the leader is Desert War, just quickening up slightly now as they come to the 600 metres. It's an advance of Flaming in second spot from Polar Bear. Boss has got the favourite in a lovely position, racing to win. He's starting to edge away from the inside, coming up into clear running. Followed in behind them by Utzon and Regal Cheer, and then came Malcolm and Johan's Toy. Larry Cassidy pinched a break on Desert War up the rise, led by 3 lengths on, racing to win, going after him now. Regal Cheer is down the outside, and so too is Malcolm. Desert War's in front, trying to create history. Now on the outside, racing to win, lays back the ears and stretches the neck and goes after him, and Racing to Win puts the head in front, and Racing to Win goes on to beat Desert War. Gallen in defeat, Malcolm third, and then came in behind them Polar Bear, followed by Nemesis and Regal Cheer, and then came Utzon and Johan's Toy, followed by Flaming, and a long last was Binding.
He's a winner. He's a winner. What a good horse he is. 13 starts for 9 wins, and he just keeps saluting. What a great horse. He's won another 400,000. He's up to about 2.9 million, and what a great horse he is. Here comes the...
You know, Desert War was really on his job today, and it took a great effort to run by him.
Sensational effort. He's backed up obviously quickly now. What will you do with him now before the Cox Plate?
I'll just hopefully get him to the Cox Plate in one piece. He probably raced a little dour today, indicative that he's starting to get ready for the 2,000 metres, having the 2 runs at a mile. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to it. He seems to be on song, and he's racing very well.
And congratulations.
Special horse, this bloke. You know, it's just a pleasure to be on his back. He just does everything that you ask him to do. Today I wanted to be a bit more... I knew that Larry would be out there and really make a race of it, so I wanted to be as close as I could to him. But when he puts himself in the spot, and then he just doesn't touch the bridle until you ask him to do something. Oh, he gives you special feelings, this horse.
Every other day gap.
Same day gap. Same trainer. 2-1-3. Racing to Win, John O'Shea, Glen Boss. 170, 120. Desert War, $2. Malcolm, 160. Quinella, 5. Well, what a horse he is, Racing to Win. He's only raced 13 times for 9 wins, 4 seconds. He did the punters a great service yesterday, $1.70. Larry Cassidy's right on Desert War, brilliant in defeat. Malcolm indicated that he's on track again. But Ken, look, he's the real deal, Racing to Win. We look forward to him in Melbourne now. But it was a good Epsom with a small field, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a small field, and because nothing wanted to take Desert War on for the lead, the first half mile was run. I've never seen so many horses pulling and racing up on the bit in their... in an Epsom or a Doncaster. But Larry Cassidy was able to manipulate the field. He started to increase tempo from the half mile. Rode Desert War an absolute treat. The other horse, despite that, was still too good. He's a winner. He wants to win. I thought Malcolm probably give him a little much start the way the tempo was, but that's his style of racing. You can't help that. And I thought he was a touch disappointing at the finish. The winner was too good. That's the full-stop story of the race.
He's 460 to 360 for the Cox Plate with Michael Escander. Steve, your take on this exciting galloper Racing to Win?
Well, Bruce, I think the small field and the fact that Desert War with his 58 was always going to lead suddenly turned this handicap into a quasi-weight for age race, and that's the way it was run.
Easily the best 3 horses ran 1, 2, 3.
Yep, and Racing to Win was clearly too good.
Look, I think he just added an...
When it Ken Calendar can...
I just sort of pinch it, sort of come to the turn, and we nearly did, but the winner was too good. From the barrier.
I think I saw the best horse in the country, Racing to Win. I rate him the top horse in the country at the moment. I know there are others with claims, and certainly El Segundo would be one of those, but I think Racing to Win is the number 1, and I think he's better than El Segundo. So there you go.
The star. You don't have a record like this horse and not be a star. He has to come up. I think he won't run before the Cox Plate now. He'll go straight into it. He's at the top of his game. It's going to be a great race with El Segundo. Desert War put all his heart into it, perfectly ridden and rated in front. That's the way to ride Desert War. He just met his match yesterday. It took him a while to get him, though.
I did, and he had to dig deep.
Looms up a game, but he just doesn't finish off at a mile.
Yeah, tell me about the owners of Polar Bear. I believe they're...
It wasn't a bad runner on it.
Yeah, look, he stuck on here, just 1,800 back to a mile. Probably went against him, but he went okay. He picked up some prize money.
Wouldn't have suited him, Ron?
No, he pulled a little bit there, but had the right run.
Where's he going?
Back to Melbourne. Was
Caulfield Cup?
Leave it to David. Leave it to David.
Well, they'll get into the
David.
Quite embarrassing, yes.
There's a Group 1 race coming up here at Randwick, and it's the Flight Stakes, and there is absolutely fabulous. Richard, the prices.
9.30 is spot on. Delago missed 19.80, 8 points shorter. Cheeky Choice 4.40, a point longer. Equal favourites on track with number 4, Gallant Tess, 5.60, spot on the mark. Fabulous, $49 is comparable. Montmello, $6.70, just longer on track, it's been rock solid. Fleur Swiss Act, number 17, 80 for the broadcast. Here's Mark Sheen.
Thanks, Richard. Fillies moving up here. Catachoo. Montmello, one of the runners for John Hawksich in the first set of the Woodlands Cup. Now, Just Dancing began a lot better today. Cheeky Choice and Fleur Royale, the stablemates, jumped in front and they lead from Chinquay and Devout. Also showing some speeders, My Lady's Chamber. Switzak's going forward and as well, and then came Montmello and Catachoo, and Miss Fantabulous is working around the field. Devout's lost its spot now, going back to midfield, joined by Just Dancing, and then came Amatola, followed by Delago Mist. In behind them next is Empress Jade, followed just in front of Cheeky Choice. They're going Hammer and Tongs in front. Miss Fantabulous, no luck. Working up hard, 3 deep. Montmello is running a run, followed by Heat of the Fire. Amatola was next right off the track from Just Dancing, Delago Mist, and then Empress Jade. Further back in behind those horses, Universal Queen, and then came Golden Zen, followed by Absolutely Fabulous. Gallant Tess is back last on the turn with Renzina. Cheeky Choice ran away from the field as they topped the rise. 2 lengths on Miss Fantabulous and My Lady's Chamber. Fleur Royale on the inside, Montmello coming across heels, and further back was Swissac, but Cheeky Choice the one to catch. Down inside the 200, she's 2 lengths in front and full of running. Fleur Royale and My Lady's Chamber are next, and further back was Swissac, but it's Cheeky Choice nicely clear, and Hugh Bowman looks set for another big win today as Cheeky Choice runs down to beat My Lady's Chamber and Fleur Royale, and then Just Dancing and Golden Zen flashing home late. Wider out was Amatola, who was never on the track, from Swissac, Delago Miss, Catachoo and Devout, and then Universal Queen and Chinquay, who had a tough run and weakened out to be last of all.
Gay Waterhouse is having a good day, isn't she? That's another one to late racing's first lady, and this time
a decisive victory it was, 2 1/4 lengths, and as I said earlier, she was taken on early. She was running 10.5 seconds to the furlong in her first 3 furlongs of the race. Then she got to the lead. Another lot of horses took her on. She said, "Get out of my way. This is an outstanding filly." They don't do what she's done today. It's so exciting. It's not a
3-7-12. Cheeky Choice 582.40. Hugh Bowman, Gay Waterhouse, My Lady's Chamber 550. Fleur Royale for Gates.
Chamber and Fleur Royale, and then Just Dancing.
Oh, she drew the outside, or the near outside alley. Lovely ride by Hugh Bowman, well rated out in front by Reduce Choice, beating My Lady's Chamber and Fleur Royale also for Go, putting value into the Trizzy. She'll come to Melbourne now, Kenny, and take on Miss Finland, Animato and Co down there. She's an improver.
Yeah, and that first half of that race, which, harking back to the Epsom, was running much faster time than the Epsom. And coming home, she had them off the bit and beaten, and she was too good for them. Now, I'll tell you something about her. She's a quick improver. Out of her. And this filly's on the up. Who knows? I'd have her in Melbourne quick smart. She's going great, this mare.
It's Wednesday week, of course.
Yeah, it's only 10 days away.
Wednesday week for the 1,000 guineas. And of course, that's where Miss Finland goes. Animato's going to take on the males next week, Steve, in the Caulfield guineas.
Yes, she will. And 1,000 guineas is looking a far more competitive race now. And
one win to Reduce Choice. And My Lady's Chamber. What a great effort in the 3 fillies lead-up races in Sydney, the Furious Stakes, the T-Rose and the Group 1 Flight Stakes. She's running 2nd, 3rd and 2nd, and, well, Miss Consistency.
Okay, well, that's
fortunate to come around. I had her down as a wet tracker. Her 2 best wins have been back on top of the ground. Maybe she's a dry tracker. She's a beauty, makes her own luck. Gail will take her to Melbourne. Don't know about an Oaks distance, but...
dominant win.
Yeah,
dominant
on
win.
pace race.
You can't look at them behind her. I mean, they all had their chance to have a crack at her, and just.
Oh, I don't know about all of them.
Oh, look.
Well, now there's one back there, Ronnie, isn't
There's
there?
a few back.
Oh, I'm sure you can find a few that ran on.
Catachoo never gets a look.
But how can you find excuses?
Golden Zen is still
how can you make excuses for them after this filly just dominates them like that?
Yeah.
I mean, I just think she's a dominant filly in Sydney, and she's the only one who might be able to serve it up to Miss Finland in the 1,000 guineas.
A couple of maidens.
New Zealand is the $1 Million Celt Capital Stakes. Has been a good race in recent years. We'll go to yesterday's running in New Zealand. We're watching for Pentane, Wahid and Sea Change, and it's a boil-over in the Celt Capital.
To go. Christoph having a shot at Shamrock Star. Wahid right on them, and he is travelling 600 metres to go. Sir Slick the Sculptor back on the inside legs. McKeon getting Sea Change to the outside, and Bell News coming around them. Cedar Manor looking for an out with Kerry O'Reilly. The Celt go for home. Christoph's gone to the lead. Wahid's after him over on the outside. Christoph kicking on. Wahid, Sea Change starting to let go over on the outside, and then Sculptor. Wahid, Sea Change, Sir Slick the inside, Christoph, Legs getting right up on the inside, Sea Change in front, Legs is trying to gun him down, Kerry O'Reilly's after them, the Oaks winner, Legs is going to get up and win the couch, Legs got it from either Kerry O'Reilly or Sea Change, back and behind.
Lisa Crop picked up the ride when David Walker went elsewhere. Legs is by pins, actually. Kerry O'Reilly's here for the Cups. Got a good chance. Sea Change. Don't think it saw out the 2,000 metres. Pentane's out to $21 with Michael Skinner for the Cups after that flop there yesterday. $13 out to 20. OK, Steve, it was a leader bias track there yesterday, apparently, but at Hawke's Bay. But are the Kiwis in play?
Oh, I don't think so, although I could happily back Sea Change in the Group 1 mile mares race on Derby Day. Oh, a la Miss Potential.
Yeah, she's a...
Raining. Fleming Race 3, Concept Sports Stakes. There's the market on screen. Excites full on.
This race with mixed feelings. He has one runner here this afternoon, the mare Amana in the feature mares. He, of course, formerly trained Excites. Perhaps that run at Newcastle was simply one aberration.
Well, that wasn't really a run, was it?
3. Gates are back there off this time. Sermione went back after the start. One of the first away, Mustahiran going fast. Our Maharaja with him. When they settle down from top strand, further back last, and Sermione is last of all inside the 850 metre mark, and it's down on the inside. Our Maharaja, he's back to speed by 3/4 top strand. Mustahir gets all the favours third. Fourth outside at Due Sasso. Excites about to come out from Lindley's Lad Mondano. Luciano, Saratime the fence, followed by Snort, then Enemy of Average and Sermione. Into the straight at the 400 metre mark. Our Maharaja a length in front, but Mustahir got out quickly and goes up to this leader now and getting a run through. Lindley's Lad, favourite under pressure, and on the outside Excites has got up to Mustahir. Further out on the track, Luciano and Snort running home well. Excites, and on the outside Luciano. Coming back Mustahir, Enemy of Average, and Snort bursting through. Snort with a withering run has raced through, and Snort gets up to win a half length on the line to either Mustahir, Excites, Luciano further out with Enemy of Average. Then came racing well is last of all. Snort has got up.
He has, Brian. Terrific performance by Snort and Greg Childs. Race change complex and a lot from about the 300 metre mark. There was ample number of winners here, but Snort's going to get it on the line. Here, Rick Wolf Childs did to Mick Price. Rick Lacey, 862.80. Muzda here, 150. Excites, 160.
Steve, good performance by the winner. What's your take on Excite's first time in Melbourne? Will he run the Caulfield Guineas next week?
Well, he had every possible chance here. No excuses for those who raced reasonably handy to the pace. We see Snort in the orange between horses. Really ran home very well, 33.8. Enemy of Average in the green. On the outside, he's also run on reasonably well, as did Sermione in the white behind him. But they didn't go particularly hard here. Excites, yeah. Look, if he was mine, I'd run him in the Guineas.
I'd run him too.
Beat Nick on 2 leg trees. Well, not much point showing in this market because it's just stifled by one Miss Finland. 160, 150, 160. If you're betting forecasts anywhere, I'm keen to risk it in the short-term money market on the favourite here, Miss Finland.
That's it. Thanks, John. Thank you.
John Massara, owner of Miss Finland, $1.50, 150 and 160. That's the quote here on Cool.
Edward Manifold and our Weaver down on the inside, and My Only Hope began well. Miss Finland has bounced out very quickly, and he's going to go around the outside and take it up on Miss Finland in the early point. And Miss Finland from the outside gate has raced to the front, settling down. Going up second on the inside, Fuji Fantasy, followed by She Will Be Loved now second, Fuji Fantasy third. Through to My Only Hope and a half to Streamline Lash. She's got a big lead on them. She might be fired up a little, Miss Finland. She's gone out about 6, 7, 8 lengths in front of in second placing now. She Will Be Loved from Fuji Fantasy, My Only Hope from the lead. And at the 800, the leader is Miss Finland. Miss Finland going boldly out in front. She's about 6 lengths in front here. From in second placing, She Will Be Loved, followed by My Only Hope, 2 to Fuji Fantasy, 2 to Rena's Lady, Streamline Lass, then Jardine. Our Weaver further back in the race, then came Lectrice Collodi. Well back in the field, then came Pintaka Bakara. Just Mamot the Grey pulled to the outside. He looked over his shoulder on Miss Finland. She straightened 3 lengths in front of She Will Be Loved, followed further back by My Only Hope. Miss Finland under pressure at the 250. She Will Be Loved coming at her on the outside with My Only Hope. And down the outside, Jardine. Miss Finland being tackled by She Will Be Loved. She Will Be Loved got ahead in front of Miss Finland. My Only Hope coming at them. She Will Be Loved with a neck in front of Miss Finland, who can't come back. And She Will Be Loved. She Will Be Loved a half length of Miss Finland. Oh, amazing tactics. My Only Hope third. Then further back, Rena's Lady, followed by Safra, Lectrice, Jardine, Fuji Fantasy.
And you can read in Brian Martin's voice what many people on course are saying. She Will Be Loved is the winner of the Edward Manifold Stakes, 1950 and 350 for Naturalism.
They've run the overall time there. Unfortunately, I'm not entirely sure we've got the sectionals working here today. This is the filly, of course, going to 1,600 now as a 3-year-old. Who's to say whether she runs it out?
$21. Well done to Matty Elton and Nashville, a great ride. Miss Finland beaten favourite, $1.60. My Only Hope, $10. Now, David Hayes was at Randwick yesterday, thankfully for Craig, because he said he had a brain explosion. There's a lot of other things being said in the wake of Miss Finland's defeat, and right, let's go straight to the man himself.
It seemed to be going keenly on Miss Finland, but the Times tell a different story.
Yeah, look, the Times tells that she was still running at an even time without going too fast, and you would be happy on the clock to run that time, but in herself she just worked too hard, and I think, you know, for her to...
I'm in the Williams corner, Craig. Don't be sheepish about it. Get out there and defend yourself. You did absolutely nothing wrong. He didn't ride the ears off that filly to cross and lead. She led quite comfortably. To my eye, she looked to travel quite well. Fact, first 800, 49.5. First 810. Not particularly quick. Fact, the first 3 at the 800 were the first 3 home. Fact, if she'd gone back to last, she couldn't possibly have won. Fact, one other run at 1,600 metres, beaten. Fact, Cheeky Choice ran the first 800 in the flight in 59.2. Miss Finland ran 1.5, 2.3 seconds slower. Craig Williams, you did nothing wrong.
Fact, you're kidding.
Simon Marshall.
Absolutely nothing wrong.
Okay.
You're right, all of that may well be true.
Okay, Steve, just one sec. I think Steve can shove his times up his jumper, because you only had to use Craig Williams' own words. In herself, she worked too hard. And if you've watched many races, that was quite obvious. He had stiff arms, she was pulling, she was racing far too hard. I don't care if they ran 56. She didn't settle, she expanded energy.
But the point is...
What I think is wrong, I think in the first part of the race, he kicked her out of the barrier, went bang, he was in front before he could blink. Now, I think a jockey with great hands, a bloke I used to watch called Simon Marshall, would have gradually got to the lead, would just have moved across gradually. Now, I'm not going to convict...
And relaxed and still...
The replay, and the jockey said so herself. I'm frightened that gut-wrencher might kill her now for the 1,000 guineas in 10 days' time.
Oh, she should pull up her off on that.
I think it was like that. She could have sat 3 deep and relaxed and still have won. I've got no doubt about that at all. The damage was done from the 1,400 metre mark to the 1,200, 200 metres after the start, where she really, really revved up. She broke 11 seconds for that. And look, that's what happens. Lactate builds up and you're absolutely history. I thought the run still was fantastic. Like, she had the audacity to even kick back and try and go with it here, and she had absolutely no hope of maintaining it. I thought the effort was absolutely wonderful, but, oh, look...
Well, I got some sympathy for Craig Williams. Don't worry, She Will Be Loved was a very good run. Yeah. It carted the field up to that filly and kept going. So don't underestimate the effort of She Will Be Loved. But I do feel a little sorry for Craig Williams here. David Hayes bowling, and he couldn't really get her to come back. So I feel a little sorry for Craig. He didn't intend to do it that way. It just worked out that way. And look, it may raise questions about whether she can actually run 2,000 metres for a Cox Plate.
Maybe he's eased off on her. She's nice and fresh still. I see the third grader, David.
Guy, Group 3 up the straight. Favourite open race is Dance Hero. It's been well tried on course for Craig Williams. Has to pick himself up after the disappointment of Miss Finland. Stuart's asking questions. Place for Undue. He's a great performer. 52.5, well placed. There'll be some moves to come. I've still got the Turnbull Stakes.
Yes, I think, and it certainly played to the horses who had the best run there. We saw Dazelle trying to make ground out wide, struggled to do so. Likewise, Molotov.
Up to 6, Fast and Famous from 7. They're off. They didn't hold them. Dance Hero, Fast and Famous towards the centre gates have begun quickly, and they're coming up the middle in the early point. Dance Hero trying to head off Min Sun in the early stages. California Dane is going back and further out on the track. Live in Vain is starting to push forward. Undue tucking in behind. Stratton Place coming up the middle. They're well off the Chentway Valedictum. Getting a fair way back is Recapitalise, and Shadowways last of all. Onto the course proper. California Dane down on the inside. Dance Hero comes off the bridle out in the middle. Then Beldadoro Recapitalise further back. Minson. Fast and Famous coming from behind. Dance Hero running on. Then Stratton Place, Live in Vain, Chinkway Chento, and down the outside here comes Shadowways. Shadowways after Dance Hero and Fast and Famous. It's Shadowways on the outside going to Fast and Famous. Shadowways, the Echuca Galloper got his head in front. Fast and Famous coming back. Shadowways, Fast and Famous. Fast and Famous kicks, and Fast and Famous beats Shadowways ahead. Dance Hero third. Then further back, Chinkway Chanko, followed by Undue, a gap to Beldadoro Minson. Live in Vain, Valedictum. Further back, then Stratton Place, California Dane, and Recapitalise is last of all.
Well, he's answered all the questions today, Steve. He came with the wrap, and he's left with the credentials. credentials. 10 Fast and Famous makes it 6 wins in a row. Unbeaten 5 this preparation. Danny Nicolec, welcome back to Australia. Beating Shadoways, who looks certain to nail him. Dan's Hero, brave, 9-1. Fast and Famous, $421.90, Dan Nicolec, John O'Shea. Shadoways, $240, $2 Dan's Hero. 16-6.
He's a winner. He's by Redute's Choice, beating Shadoways, who looks certain to score. And Dance Hero, Steve, you first look at him in the flesh. He's a nice type of horse, and he can run.
He certainly can. Terrific performance, and he'll go on to the Salinger now, and will still be handicapped in a winnable weight range. We look at the finish of this race. Now, the first 5 draw away from the others, and I think you can follow each of them in the right sort of race. Fast and Famous and the Salinger, of course. The Shadoways, he can win a decent race through the spring. Undue wants further, and Cinquecento first up for Peter Moody was pretty good.
Undue backs up next week in the Turak from 1200 there. Shadoways.
One thing I want to ask you, Steve, about we're talking about.
Oh, look, this is a superstar. Look, I liked him before he got down here. I've loved his performances in Sydney, but I tell you what, Shadoways, the tempo up front helped him to be just that little bit closer. He had every chance to get past him, and this just laid its ears back and said, no way, no, you're not getting past me. He is a very, very good galloper, and they did get to the perfect part of the track, both horses. Dance Hero stuck to his guns well after his first up performance at...
That win was the fact that it's his first time up the straight.
Didn't Coulter...
It's the first time I think they've travelled him to Melbourne. He had 55 kilos, which was pretty close to some older horses that were much more experienced and had a better record than his. And he was up in class, and he was headed, and
it was D-Day for him, and he pulled through.
It's a big win.
And I have to say, it was a great ride. He slipstreamed Dance Hero the whole way. It was a great ride. I like Cinquecento.
As Kimura goes up. Speedy Rossa, who's got an unbeatable record here at the moment, 3 for 3 at the 1400. She's gone into line. Wonderful win by Svenafida on the turn. Now, Lyrical Bid goes up. Astrodame. Lights are on, they're off this time. Speedy Rossa down near the inside with Open Cut. They bounced out quickly. Lyrical Bid, Divine Madonna and Last Goodbye and Rule and Ruby have gone back after the start. Queen of the Hill going forward. Speedy Rossa, Queen of the Hill have got the lead early. Followed by Rule and Ruby and Divine Madonna last of all as Queen of the Hill took up the running at the 850. A length and a half to Belbazere. A length further back then Speedy Rossa running third. 2.5 then to Open Cut. 2 then to Easy Plans. There followed further back in the race. Over in the centre by Nova Star. Well back was Astrodame. Then Valparaiso followed by Lyrical Bid coming to the turn. Plans to the outside from Kimura followed by Last Goodbye. Divine Madonna and Rule and Ruby last of all. On the turn, Queen of the Hill in front. Belbazere moving up quickly with Speedy Rossa. Further out is Open Cut. Up on the inside, Astrodame, then Nova Star, Hidden Strings, and Imana coming down the outside. Queen of the Hill is gone. Speedy Rossa hit the front. Open Cut on the outside is after it. They're followed by Nova Star getting up on the inside. Then Imana and Divine Madonna is swamping them out wide. Divine Madonna has raced to the front now from Speedy Rossa and Imana and Open Cut, and Divine Madonna a brilliant winner. Wins 3 lengths Imana. Third home is Open Cut. Lyrical Bid ran on. Back on the inside, Speedy Rossa from Belbazere. Then Plans. Further back, Astrodame. Valparaiso followed by, at the head of the others, Say Goodbye. Well back in the field, then Nova Star, Queen of the Hill, Rule and Ruby, Kimura, and Hidden Strings is back near the tail.
Well, what a win. Divine Madonna from near last.
Told you should be working well.
They got it right, Steve. 11, 10 and 7 your numbers. Well, it's 11 and second. Open Cuts run third. An amazing performance. The acceleration she showed when she got into the clear, she just joined into a different race.
Superb effort. She's come from last. She drew second behind the place getters. We're not sure at this point. The winner to return $11 and $3.50. Second 10 Imana $2.90. Third 7 Open Cut $3.90.
And Divine was the Group 1 at Flemington during the carnival. $9 beating Imana Open Cut. They were in a different race. Home in 34.3. This horse ran 32 low and broke 11 for the last furlong there yesterday. Simon, it must be a great field to ride a horse like that.
Yeah, absolutely outstanding. Well done to Mark Cavanaugh and Marky Zara there. They've done their homework with this mare. Look, Nemazine got beat 4.2 and run behind Piscatera when she hit the line extremely well. Put the writing on the wall for her. Her first up win in Adelaide was sensational, and I really followed her yesterday, and I like the way how they let down from the 600 metres. Give her a chance to peel off them, but I didn't think she'd win that easy.
I don't know. Don't find him much, and then sort of just got her out, saved ground with the turn, and then put it in the left and give her 2 cracks and let rip.
You pulled the stick in the left hand.
So I think so. As soon as I did that, she haven't had one let down like that for a while.
You can just see it in the voice or sense it in the voice there, can't you? Just went, ooh, Mark Zara with a Divine Madonna.
She had to do all the work for simply getting back.
But if it had been another 200 metres, she'd have won by 10.
It was an explosive win.
It was unbelievable.
I remember her in a Group 1 in Adelaide being unlucky one day, and she's always had something.
And a photo for third there. The Group 1, $500,000 Turnbull Stakes, won last year by Mackay Diva. Elstrom prior to that, Northerly, Sunline, Fairway, Sky Heights, some race and some form pointer, Steve. Group 1 level for the first time. Favourite on the tote is number 3, Ladder of the Manor at 3:30. Let's have a look at these horses in the yard. Right, thanks. Lee Freedman joining us, and Ladder of the Manor is our tote favourite, $3.50, and got to $4 on course, has been back. So too, Serenade Rose, horse on screen there, horse 13 in the blue and pink hoops, got out to $9.50. That's been taken, but the rally now starting to come, Steve, for a Ladder of the Manor. D. Oliver's first ride on the horse.
Interesting, isn't it? Greg Childs has made this big call out of a sense of loyalty, I think, mainly to the owners of Railings. He's staying with Railings, abandoning Ladder of the Manor. Damien Oliver, it might be the opportunity that he can grasp following return from 2 serious falls, and you would...
And they're ready now. Set, the gates are back and they're off. Equitamore's got away well down on the inside. Apache Cat bounds quickly with Show Barry and Ladder the Manor. And there goes Storm Hill getting up inside runners, and also pushing forward in the early point is Serenade Rose. Storm Hill led now from Apache Cat, Show Barry. Serenade Rose has gone up 4th, followed by Equitamore. Centre Fighter up 4th, followed by Equitamore. Centre Fighter on the outside of it. Ladder the Manor just easing back off them. They're well strung out in the Turnbull. Storm Hill leads them, coming off the back of the 1100. A length and a half, Serenade Rose, and plenty of clear daylight today. 2 lengths further back, Show Barry. Equitamore 4th, 2 to Centre Fighter running 5th. A length and a half further back in the race, Apache Cat. Roman Arch on the inside from Ladder the Manor. Our Smoke and Joe is off the track, followed by Head Turner. Then Railings, the inside Accumulate, 2 to Art Success. Well back to Merger, and last of all is Zipping. They're coming for home at the 700 metre mark. Storm Hill just in front. Centre Fighter's made a lightning move to go up on the outside of Storm Hill. They're followed by Serenade Rose. Further back, Our Smoke and Joe. Then came Show Barry, Apache Cat. When they turned for home from Equitamore, Centre Fighter got its head in front now from Storm Hill. Equitamore, Serenade Rose under pressure. Then Art Success, Apache Cat down the outside. They're followed by Our Smoke and Joe, and getting out Head Turner. But Centre Fighter has kicked in at the 200 metre mark. Centre Fighter's gone away a length and a half in front of Serenade Rose, followed by Equitamore and Our Smoke and Joe. Centre Fighter in front. A big Friedman finish coming up. He's holding Our Smoking Joe at bay, and Centre Fighter wins a half length. Our Smoke and Joe second, I think Equitamore third. Serenade Rose is close up and wider out Zipping. They're followed by Railings and also running on from Equitamore. Centre Fighter got its head in front now from Storm Hill. Equitamore, Serenade Rose under pressure. Then Art Success, Apache Cat down the outside. They're followed by Our Smoke and Joe, and getting out Head Turner. But Centre Fighter has kicked in at the 200 metre mark. Centre Fighter's gone away a length and a half in front of Serenade Rose, followed by Equitamore and Our Smoke and Joe. Centre Fighter in front. A big Friedman finish coming up. He's holding Our Smoking Joe at bay, and Centre Fighter wins a half length. Our Smoke and Joe second, I think Equitamore third. Serenade Rose is close up and wider out Zipping. They're followed by Railings and also running on further out Head Turner back to the inside Storm Hill. Behind those Apache Cap. They're followed further back by Ladder the Manor, then Show Barry. Roman Archer as well back with Demerger. Pulling up quickly after the line is Accumulate, followed by Art Success back near the tail.
There's the new favourite for the BMW Caulfield Cup. 7 Spinner Fighter, guaranteed a run for Danny Nicklick, who seized the opportunity at the 800 metre mark, went forward to sit outside the leader. Big race for Lee Freedman here. Our Spoken Joe's confirmed second, terrific. Serenade Rose back on song, may have been nosed out by Equitamore, but Spinner Fighter.
And look, if you've had a crazy run, he's a very good horse. Get out and then camp on the leaders and wait in front. And it was a bit daring, but I think it was better than holding our breath, looking for him, searching for runs and all that sort of thing.
He's into the Caulfield Cup now, and obviously Dingley to come back.
Oh, the 8th he is, yeah. No, they might do the same in the Caulfield Cup, mate.
He was spotted well. So good for Our Smoking Joe wide, and Serenade Rose against her pattern was terrific.
Geez, I thought his was sensational cup trial, Smoking Joe. And the mare stood up and she ran good today too, so I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks.
Well done.
Thanks.
First and second and third, a trifecta in the Group 1, the Turnbull Stakes. Steve?
Yes, Brett. They're really good, mate. So, great race, great form reference. Benefited Dan Nicollick. Terrific ride, tactically mid-race, won the race there, Dan. Smoking Joe ticking over beautifully. Serenade Rose back on track. Aqua d'Amour was good. Zipping was flashing home. We'll get to all those shortly, Steve. But Benefited started today, number 65 in the order of entry. Now he's in, now he's favourite. And it was a good sign. He's a horse going the right way. He's well weighted in the Cups.
Well, he is. He drops 6.5 kilos. We'll know more about the Cups on Tuesday, of course. Next round of declarations for the Caulfield and Melbourne Cups on Tuesday. I'm sure that Simon will agree here. A, it was a superb ride from Danny Nicollick to push forward when he did. And B, I love that from a Caulfield Cup perspective, because you want to be on the horse. I think it's a little bit of a myth that you've got to settle in the first 3 or 4 in the Caulfield Cup, but I don't think it's a myth that you've got to be running, coming to the turn and getting yourself well and truly into the race. So he was impressive yesterday. Svenafita doing the work on the speed. As you mentioned, Zipping, you'll see in the Lloyd Williams colours, runs his last 632.7. Head turner, Railings Demerger behind him, all satisfactory. Serenade Rose was better. Our Smoking Joe was very good.
A little unfortunate to be stuck facing the breeze. And Aqua d'Amour to finish equal third with Serenade Rose is terrific.
One thing, he's a 6-year-old and that's only his 12th race start. Like, he's going to get better and better. Caulfield Cup, he'll be very hard to beat. Whether he's seasoned enough for a Melbourne Cup, and I keep looking at our Smoking Joe. Now, our Smoking Joe, don't forget that super run when he was hammered in the lead in the BMW in Sydney and he finished third to Aramide. He can stay Smoking Joe. Gee, that was a good run.
They changed his colours again, yes. This changed his colours again, yes. This about Benefited. 50 kilos in the Caulfield Cup. Can't be penalised. We'll get to that situation a bit later on. Dan Nicollick, connections want him to ride the horse 1 kilo over. Are they giving away an advantage that the handicap has given them?
Zipping. But on the day, it comes down to every other factor. If every other factor was equal, yes, you're conceding something with a kilo. But I think this horse is so much on the rise, 51 kilos. And I think Kenny, our Smoking Joe, Lee Friedman's been talking about the Melbourne Cup for 12 months. I love that. And I like the fact that I think in that little tower down there at Markdell, Svenafita is spoken of in the same terms as Doremus.
Yeah, I think Svenafita is a very good horse. Look,
those horses are very equal on terms, so you've got to analyse that race. That is the best form race too, folks, leading into a Caulfield Cup. Have a good look at it and take your pick.
Quickly, if I may, if somebody can explain to me why we run a Group 1 handicap called the Caulfield Cup, a handicap. So if you win a minor handicap on the way through, you can be penalised for it. Oh, yeah. If you win a set weights penalties race or a weight for age race, proving that you're going superbly, you can't be penalised.
It's a total anomaly and it's a throwback to the old ages where they wanted to improve weight for age fields and it should be corrected.
Big race for Lee.
Great win. He went to the front of the 700 metre mark and that is a hard thing to do in a Group 1 race, lead from the 700 metre mark onwards. They all had their chance to have a crack at him. He kept firing. So look, he drops to officially 50 kilos in the Caulfield Cup from the 56.5 he carried yesterday. But as Andrew told us earlier, Danny Nicollick can only ride the horse at 51. So they've given him permission, if it's okay with the stewards, for Danny to ride him at 51. There are plenty of good runs in this race, though, weren't there, Andrew?
Yeah, there certainly was, and I thought Aqua d'Amour fought on pretty bravely. We'll talk about more other news in a minute, but it's definitely going to line up in the Caulfield Cup now, Aqua d'Amour.
Yeah, I thought it was a cheeky little run, Aqua d'Amour. And look, we obviously know it's got a lot of ability, but it ran very well indeed. But, you know, look, why I said barriers are going to be very critical in the Caulfield Cup, because of the simple fact, Zipping drew very awkwardly yesterday, and it was forced to go back. It broke 33 seconds over the last 600 metres. The run was absolutely outstanding as far as I'm concerned. It is still the one in the Caulfield Cup. I've got no question about that. Look,
the Cox Plate.
We mustn't forget our Smoking Joe either.
Oh, Joe was a great run.
That's right.
It was a great run. Actually,
there wasn't many better runs than his in the race.
Jimmy Cassidy rated it one of the best Melbourne Cup trials he'd ever ridden, and he's ridden in a few Melbourne
I don't blame him. Now we're getting dead tracks for all the VRC Carnival. He comes right into calculations for the Cup.
Come on, Ronnie. Don't be narky. No, I'll tell you what.
I'm saying that that's what's going to happen.
I know where you're going, and I know what you're trying to say.
Anywhere near that.
We got an upgrade.
Hey, Ron, we got an upgrade after the third.
Understand.
Yeah.
Now, can I just ask the boys? I just ask the boys?
We have to press on there. Look, obviously, I thought there was no better runs than the first two there. The winner did all the work, held off good horses. couple other runs. I'm a bit worried about Hawksy's pair. Railings and Head Turner. They're ticking along, but
Railings was okay from a Melbourne Cup point of view, Ron, but I reckon Head Turner was ordinary.
Look, they're too close in the market. They should be wider than that. I think
First, Caulfield Guineas next week, and $2.30 Court Command, $6 Dan Ever, Wonderful World $6.50, Animator the filly, $7 with Churchill Downs. Excites. Well, you can bet on the Cox Plate, although Steve Moran doesn't think that's the way to go, but you can bet on this market and the Cox Plate right now in Melbourne with Michael Scanner. 260 El Segundo, 360 Racing to win. Grey Swallow Firm without racing, $9 into $8. Louder the Manor double his quote, $5.50 out to $11. Louder than
Steve has kept firming without racing, shows you that the race has collapsed.
Interesting. There doesn't look to be a lot of depth. You know, good old Fields of Omar will be competitive again. Super Kid can possibly be competitive, particularly if we got a little bit of rain, but there doesn't look to be a lot of depth.
Here's the new market for the Caulfield Cup. Changed a lot yesterday. Spinner Fighter in the mix at $4.40, zipping $5.50. Serenade Rose back in play, $6.50. Smoke and Joe, Lee Freeman first, third and fourth favourites, $8. Head Turner and Railings, 10 and 11. And for racing in Victoria.
And in future years.
Okay, well, here is the Melbourne Cup market with Yates right back in the mix. And Johnny Hawk's aiming for his first cup. Tony Pistakargas and the team there with Head Turner and Railings sitting pretty at $7. Torquay into $8 for the Melbourne Cup. Yates at $9, $10 zipping. Smoke and Joe looks well suited, $11. And Spinner Fighter the same. Imperial Stride, $17, Serenade Rose.
Yeah, Bruce, just relax.
Is that on a Jeune at $34?
But I could be tempted to take the 33-1 on a Jeune.
Yes.
Because if he happened to come out and run a cracker next up, maybe Geelong Cup or wherever they take him, he'll be 12, 14-1, not 33.
That's very unreserved.
Wish I had a licence.
He's next week, and $2.30 Court Command, $6 Dan Ever, Wonderful World $6.50, Animator the filly, $7 with Churchill Downs. Ex-Sox player right now in Melbourne with Michael Scanner. 260 El Segundo, 360 Racing to win. Grey Swallow Firm without racing, $9 into $8. Louder the Manor double his quote, $5.50 out to $11. Louder than
Steve has kept firming without racing, shows you that the race has collapsed.
Interesting. There doesn't look to be a lot of depth. You know, good old Fields of Omar will be competitive again. Super Kid can possibly be competitive, particularly if we got a little bit of rain, but there doesn't look to be a lot of depth.
Here's the new market for the Caulfield Cup. Changed a lot yesterday. Spinner Fighter in the mix at $4.40, zipping $5.50. Serenade Rose back in play, $6.50. Smoke and Joe, Lee Freeman first, third and fourth favourites, $8. Head Turner and Railings, 10 and 11. And for racing in Victoria.
And in future years.
Okay, well, here is the Melbourne Cup market with Yates right back in the mix. And Johnny Hawk's aiming for his first cup. Tony Pistakargas and the team there with Head Turner and Railings sitting pretty at $7. Torquay into $8 for the Melbourne Cup. Yates at $9, $10 zipping. Smoke and Joe looks well suited, $11. And Spinner Fighter the same. Imperial Stride, $17, Serenade Rose.
Yeah, Bruce, just relax.
Is that on a Jeune at $34?
But I could be tempted to take the 33-1